All right, let's see if I remember how to do this thing. What's up, everybody? We are live here just to kind of hang out and yeah, have some fun. So I'm joined by Tori from Tori Talks and Chris, the bearded book beast, who I gave exactly 30 minutes notice to come hang out with me. And they were very kind enough to come join me. And the first question is from Rogue. Am I still weeding? I'm weeding Wind and Truth. I wish they would have hired me to weed Wind and Truth.
Nice.
Yes and no. It's currently like I haven't DNF'd it. I'm not like hating it enough to be like I'm never gonna read this. It's just kind of sitting on the shelf, like waiting for like me to like have a chunk of time to be like, yeah, why not? Like I'll come back to it. Thank you, Shad. Thank you. We've got the good old Patrick Hodelor, my good friend Patrick. I love that man. We got Doug, Doug is awesome. Doug is always commenting on my videos, and it's always like 2 to 3 paragraphs. They're always like insightful and like deep, and he's always got like this large breadth of experience. It's like, I read this so long ago. Like, Doug is awesome. Thank you,
He's
Doug.
in our readathon team this month.
That's right.
Yeah, he's
That's
kicking
right.
butt.
Yeah, he is.
What team am I on?
I don't know, Doug, how many books have you read this month? It's something ridiculous, like 31.
Yeah.
Doug is awesome.
It's crazy.
Samwise, greetings. I Samwise.
I love that profile picture.
Yeah, that is awesome.
What book is that?
Oh yeah, I don't know what book it is.
Oh, I've never noticed the baby.
Blind.
I've never noticed.
You never noticed the baby?
Never noticed the baby. I've always noticed the book, which shows you where my brain goes.
Priorities.
Oh.
I have priorities. Doug says it's 35.
35, Doug.
Hot dang.
Are they like big books? Are they?
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, some of them, yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. It was awesome though. We had a voice chat in the Discord a couple weeks ago where Doug and I and Madison were all just gabbing about historical fiction, and it was such a fun, because I don't get to talk about historical fiction as much in the fantasy sphere, so it was a really fun conversation.
Did you see the Shogun edition of The Broken Binding?
Ooh,
I'm counting pennies. Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be backing that if I can.
Yeah.
Which I get like a slightly prioritized like access to it now because I have the sci-fi sub.
Ooh,
nice.
There you go.
I'm tier 2 in April. So
yeah, I've been waiting for my fantasy sub invite and it hasn't. I'm nervous.
When did you?
I skipped Rook and Ruin.
Oh yeah, so did I.
And I was just like, I don't think that it's Rook and Ruin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I skipped that one too.
Yeah, I was just like, I know a lot of my friends have loved it. I just don't think it's quite for me.
Have they announced what they're doing for?
Yeah, they're doing
the Feist. That's right.
They're doing Feist, which I already have fine press editions of. And so I'm like, I don't know if I need that. I want it. But do I need 3 copies of Magician?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all different.
I've got the Instant Press edition.
What kind of a question is that?
Come on, man.
And I've got the Grim Oak Press edition. Do I need the Broken Binding edition as well?
Probably. Yeah.
Rogue wanted to know when I was returning to Malazan. And I believe, where is my Malazan? Where are you? Aha!
I need to start House of Chains.
I've got Midnight Tides. Maybe I will return to Midnight Tides when Tori reaches Midnight Tides.
That'll be my first read of it. So
that is what I'm saying right now. Is Tori and I, we're buddy reading this.
Do we dare
I never even asked permission.
Do we dare say we're doing a buddy read? Because we never can get our buddy reads to coordinate.
Exactly. It is a copy of The Immolation of Christ by St. Thomas. That is okay.
All right.
Nice.
That was more highbrow than I was anticipating. Right. Not the immolation, the imitation.
Yeah, you were close. It was not quite the same thing.
The Immolation of Christ. Yeah, I was reading it at church. I don't think that book belongs there. We got some birthday wishes. Mike Moman. Love Mike Moman.
Like,
And Mike was like, I can't see my books in frame anymore. And I'm like, I promise I still have the mic. Where are they? They're up here. They're up here. There we go. I'm still learning where all my books are.
right.
Mine are on my shelf behind me too.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, Samwise. I also skipped the Rook and Rose. Yeah. I'm assuming that's what he means. Ebook and rolls, Rook and Rose. I can see how the system got there.
Right. Makes sense.
Andrew, can you fit that shelf of books you packed away now? The ones with I didn't pack those away. I don't have those anymore. I unhauled them. I have an audiobook of Lions of Alrasan. So yeah, that was an unhaul. So that got taken and moved before I even moved. But I have a bookshelf that I haven't built yet, and then I now have permission to put one bookshelf in my bedroom. So I will have room for additional books.
Well, there you
go. Let's see. What are you guys reading?
Oh, hey, River. Can you grab that book on the top of the stack on my nightstand, please?
Hi, River.
Yep.
She can't hear me.
Nope, I don't think
Andrew
so.
Wizard says hi. No. Okay.
Oh, you're reading the new Suzanne Collins.
Finally, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I just finished this.
Oh, nice.
Really
Oh, that's
good.
such a pretty edition.
Oh, that's the Kickstarter edition from CS Diamante, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
a
it was
really
really
beautiful
good.
book.
I need to read ZS Diamante. And it's Diamante. Diamante.
Oh, is it? I always say Diamante too.
I do too.
It might be Diamante. I don't know. I've just realized today because I was editing a video where I was talking about indie books and Stone and Sky was one of them. And I was like, there's an N right before that T. Do I pronounce that in? And it was just a thing of just.
Well, if you don't pronounce it correctly, someone in the comments will yell at you.
Got more well wishes. We got the legendary J.C. Byrne.
I'm reading Blood Reunion next month. I'm excited.
Yes, I just read. Oh God, I keep looking in the wrong spot. There we go. Suppression of Powers by J.C. Byrne.
Nice.
It was very good. Let us be grateful for people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Marcel Proust. You are one of the magnificent people. Fantabulous, Mr. Andrew. Thank you, Nicholas. Nicholas is always in my comments with the most wholesome.
I love that.
Comment. I love it so much. Like, I'm just like, yeah, Nicholas rules. Thank you, Nicholas. Yeah, GGK has been very, very hit and miss for me. I what's that one? Tigana. I got to a specific scene in Tigana and I just noped right out of it. Very quickly. It's a scene in like a confessionary, I think, or a
confessional.
Confessional. There we go. A confessional. You can tell I go to church all the time.
I don't have confessionals at my church.
It was a scene in a confessional. I was just nope. The Will of the Many is very good. I'm afraid that I'm going to have to read or buy the special edition of The Will of the Many because I don't think they're going to be doing a standard printing of a cover that matches.
Oh.
Yeah, because the cover that they announced book 2 with is a sequel cover to the special edition, not the original edition.
Right.
I like the original edition.
Yeah, I did too. I like the simplicity and I like the pillars on it.
Yeah.
And yeah, the cover reveal for book 2 is the special edition sequel style of art.
It's not much to ask to have matching books.
I know.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I saw somebody was like, I hope they'll do both. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way they'll do both.
It'd be nice, but probably not.
Yeah.
You should watch Michael Kiss book tour. It's all in his master bedroom.
Mine too.
My wife is very not bookish. And so having all of my bookshelves in my bedroom would be a surefire way to make sure I don't sleep in the master bedroom.
Yeah, we have 6 bookshelves in our bedroom.
As you should.
Impressive.
Yep.
I am reading this,
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
and I am reading this.
Ooh,
Ooh.
both. I really
wanna
want to
read
try
both of
Dating
those.
Cup. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
It's very interesting so far. I'm only on chapter 3. I like it. I think of all of the Robert Jackson Bennett books that I've read so far or attempted to read, this is probably my favorite. A bit sweary, where like the Holmesian character just has a foul mouth and like I was like, okay, like I could have done without that. But the world building is like nature based. Like the air purifiers are giant mushrooms that purify the air and then like lower the temperature of the air, and only rich people can have. Like their air conditioners are giant mushrooms.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
And like it seems to be like Japanese based because like they've got like the paper doors where like it's like fern paper is what they call it. And so it's like rice paper doors, and like their buildings are made of rice paper. But there's also like an apocalypse or something. There's like some sort of like threat outside the border of like the empire, and it's ocean based, and so it's really interesting world building, and I'm really enjoying that. You see, I don't know if they. I'm assuming this is Will of the Many. I don't know if they announced that they were trashing it, but I did see the reveal for book 2 was like in the style of the special edition.
Yeah.
Hot take, I like the original version better than the special edition.
The one reason I might get the special edition is there's an additional prologue.
One prologue's not enough.
One prologue wasn't enough. Actually, I don't know if Will of the Many has a prologue.
It's either that or it's just despite all of the people on Twitter who hate prologues.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the original.
Such a cool
which
cover.
was a gift from a Secret Santa. But let's see if it actually has a prologue. No, it just jumps right in. So basically, the prologue starts with the main character as he's fleeing his home. But the book actually starts off with the character already in the situation. And the special edition supposedly darn, book won't go back into its space. Starts with, anyway, yeah. Bookshelves, bookcases, linguistic divide. I don't know. I call them both actually, but well, no. I know what a bookcase is, but I think I call them bookshelf.
Bookcase sounds like you're locking your books away in a box somewhere. I don't like that.
I don't like the way it either.
Buffalo Hunter. This is the new Stephen Graham Jones. I tried to buy this when I was in Denver, and I went to go see Patrick Ryan and Andrew D. Meredith. And I was at the Tainted Cup, and I saw it behind the counter, and I said, "Can I buy that?" And they went, "No." And I went, "Why?" They're like, "It hasn't been published yet." And I'm like, "But it's right there."
Then why is it there?
Then why is it there? They're like, "Yeah, we can't break street date." I'm like, "Then don't show it to me."
Right.
I was very, very.
That's disappointing.
Sad. I feel like I've been running my mouth, and I've been not paying attention to the happy birthday, Nicholas's great comment, reading Will of the Many. Do you ever go to Cosign? No, I don't live in Denver. I was just visiting Denver. I live in Indiana, so I've been to PopCon, I've been to AwesomeCon, and I've been to IndieCon or Indiana Comic Con. And then I've not been to Gen Con yet, but I will eventually. Because ML Wong constantly comes to Gen Con, and
Nice.
I want to go and meet ML Wong because that would be cool for me.
That would be very cool.
Thank you, Carrie. Tim Powers. I'm really enjoying the Anubis Gates. It's a very interesting book. What I'm scared about is it's like my Patreon book club book. And everybody I know who's been reading it with me was like, yeah, the first half was great. And then I DNF'd it. And I was just like, oh no.
Oh no.
So I'm like, I'm in the portion right now where people are getting like DNFing it. And I'm just like, I'm waiting for the shoe to drop. And I'm hoping that like I just like it. So we'll see. So far, like I said, I'm only like 12% in, but it's really good. Really good. Really good. Tigana isn't great starting point. Lions is more indicative. It's funny, when we're with the main characters on Lions, I was having a good time. But when we're not with the main characters, I wasn't really pulled in. It made me sad. Only the best of fantasy. Thank you, thank you. Do you have any David Dalglish on your TBR? I haven't read Anthony Ryan, but Dalglish is often compared to him. I've tried Dalglish, and it didn't quite work for me. What Dalglish did I...
Bladed Faith?
Was it Bladed Faith?
Was it the
No, it wasn't Bladed Faith, although I am interested in Bladed Faith. It was one of his older David...
Goalkeepers or whatever? I can't remember.
Yes, yes, I tried that. And the premise was really cool, but I wasn't a huge fan of the execution. And Anthony Ryan's one of my favorites. I actually just got an arc of one of his upcoming October books,
Nice.
which he just DM'd me on Bluesky, and he was like, "Hey, like, thanks for all the support. Do you want this arc?" And I was just like, "Yes, yes, Capricious Fox. Prologues are good. We stand the prologue here over at Andrew's Wizardly Reads.
Unless it's just a chapter 1 that they named a prologue.
Hey, we don't need this negativity.
Sorry, I put my writer brain away for a minute.
Nonsense. Which, how goes the edits? You did sprints for edits for Cold Silver for Souls last night, right?
I did. Good. Yeah, I'm about probably a third of the way through edits, and I'm going to try and finish today and tomorrow and send it to my copy editor friend.
I'm like 40% through the book, and I haven't found anything that I thought really needed anything. Your first pass is very good.
Thank you. Yeah, I do typically write a clean first draft, but it takes me a longer time to write the first draft. So it's,
Radiant King by Dalglish, and it's excellent. Big recommend for any Berserk fan. Well, hey, Ben!
Wizard, happy birthday!
Thank you! It was funny. I called Ben on his birthday, so Ben is talking. Hi!
Hi.
Love the grin.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to work overtime this because, and then
I was going to say, like, you're doing a live stream this morning, and I was like, he's not live streaming while he's working, is he?
No, I would never do that.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually too scared to do that.
Probably a good plan.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So you decided to take it off today?
Yeah. I don't think overtime was open this weekend.
It was, but it wasn't. I think it had to do with like part of the system was down, but not all of it. And I was like, I don't want to have to deal with it. I just won't work. It'll be fine.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yep.
For those of you watching, Ben and I work together.
Yeah. That's fine. All right. I'll give this back to Tori.
All right.
Wizard.
Thank you. John from Talking Story.
John
has to
reading
work
John's
today.
book right now.
I tried to snag John, and I just couldn't get him.
Yeah, I'm sure they're swamped right now. Getting ready.
Right.
I'm like 35% through Discovery right now.
That's pretty good.
So you continued?
I did, yeah. So I'm not I have not read anything in this genre. So I am like just kind of stumbling my way through, and like I love it's so different. It's so different. And I know a lot of people that have read more in those genres have said the same thing. So I'm glad to know that at least I'm in the same vein. But yeah.
My adoption request. I don't know where this is coming from, Abel, but I can't afford to adopt somebody else. I've been pestering Abel I was just like, I'm going to buy your book.
His book looks so good.
It does.
Yeah, it looks really good.
The cover looks awesome.
Yep.
No, this is, I'm assuming you're talking about Anthony Ryan. This is, I think it's called The Harrowing. What? And it is, I have to actually look at I have to look at my Kobo. Because I haven't started it yet. Not reading. This would be unread. Did I not? No, it's on my Kindle because it went through NetGalley. So I think it's called The Harrowing, and it's like a post-apocalyptic horror book that Anthony Ryan wrote.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gen Con is an experience I used to go for work. It can be a bit overwhelming. It's massive, massive convention. It's like the national gaming convention. So yeah, I'm within easy living distance. Otherwise, I wouldn't dare try and go.
Note: stay with Wizard if I ever go to Gen Con.
Yeah, sure. It's not like you haven't stayed in my home before.
It's true.
I do have plenty to read, Dennis. In fact, I've got your books to read.
Who's that?
That's Nico.
Oh, hi, Nico.
I'm just some guy.
Just some guy.
That's just some dude. A year ago, I was with Nico.
Yes.
I was at Nico's house 1 year ago. Oh, they're right in front of me. Oh, here's
my wife decided she was willing to put up with Andrew for a little bit as like a joint birthday thing for us. So
it wasn't. I was there 4 days. I was there.
What day is your birthday, Nico?
The 12th.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a fun trip. I had a lot of fun, especially the saga of the gas station pizza.
Oh, for crying out loud. I was so annoyed about that.
I'll never forget. We pull up. They haven't made the food. Nico gets annoyed, so he like orders from another gas station. Goes there. They don't have it ready. So then he's just like, screw it, forget that order, and then goes back to the other one, and then like now it's cold, but it's ready. And he's like, it's not normally like this.
Still mad. You were bad luck, I tell you.
I was not, although I probably was.
For those who are not from the Midwest, the gas station pizza place is Casey's, which actually has very good pizza, so it's not weird. I know it sounds weird, but it's like a rite of passage. If you're visiting Iowa, you have to have Casey's pizza because people are like, why are you getting pizza from a gas station? What are you doing? Yeah.
They just don't understand.
It was good pizza.
Yeah.
It wasn't mind-blowing pizza, but it was good pizza.
Good. Their breakfast pizza's the best too.
Ooh.
Rogue wants to know when you're continuing Prince of Nothing.
I will be doing it in May. Is actually I would have been doing it soon anyway, but it was a patron pick. So I'm like, perfect. That's an even better excuse for me to continue really quickly. So I say that's Tori. Yeah.
Yeah, Tori's from Minnesota.
Yep.
I'm from Iowa, the Minnesota of the South.
Wait,
So
what?
Flat.
Yeah, right.
We at least have some bluffs and some topography changes up here.
True.
Ben agrees that Casey's pizza is great.
Yeah.
We have Casey's here in Indiana, but they're like all the way on the like west side of Indiana.
Makes sense.
And I don't think they do pizza. Because they're in the middle of nowhere.
Oh,
So
they
you have
probably
fake
do.
Casey's.
Let's see. Oh, Samwise is from Minnesota.
Nice. I forgot about that.
I was laughing at that. Heidi, I was born in San Diego, and I've also been to both coasts. But yes, I have been to the ocean many a time. So
we have seen water. Yes.
Nico is of the ocean. Hunt's Brothers I think Hunt's Brothers actually is one of the largest pizza chains in the U.S.
Is that the chunk one where you get a chunk of pizza?
Yeah, they're in like
always
all the gas stations.
Okay. I've never actually eaten that. They don't really have it much around here, but the grocery store I used to work at got bought out years later, and then they started having that, and I never actually tried it. But that's
Whatever happened to that? What was that?
Oh, we have some slander going on in that chat. That's just.
Do we?
If your pizza's not a little greasy, it's not pizza.
I will say from the town I grew up in Iowa, the best person who made the Casey's pizza would get some like the tissue paper kind of stuff and like press down and soak up a little bit of the grease, and it did make it the most perfect Casey's pizza you will ever have. So sometimes it can be a little greasy, but also like when you want that ooey gooey greasy pizza, that's what you want. It's Casey's.
We have a place here that is just straight cheese and grease, and it's called, I believe it's called The Ordinary, is the name of the place. And then, yeah, it's just called The Ordinary, but it's this monster slice of pizza.
Wow.
Very good. You will feel sick afterwards, but it's very good.
See, I can't do if the food gives me gut rot, I don't want it.
Y'all are making. We're so sorry, Evie.
I'm gonna tell Ben I want pizza for lunch.
Right, that sounds good now.
Ben's in the chat.
He is. Ben, I want pizza for lunch.
Yeah. In fact, Casey's Pizza is great, so you should get Casey's.
Endorsed by Ben.
Endorsed by the Benjamin.
I will also say though, because my favorite like pizza place overall, which everybody always hates on, but now is becoming more popular and acceptable, is Papa John's. 'Cause Papa John's is great. Yeah. People like to hate on it, but now those two dudes who make like the videos that work at Papa John's are making it acceptable to like Papa John's again.
You're talking about the guy who's like, that's just one way we do it better.
There are two of them. They're twins. They look and sound the same, but there are two of them, and they have two different channels. Yeah.
Rude.
It's a real thing.
Just one dude.
I did too, until I randomly saw the other, and I'm like, that's not the right channel name, but it's Do Joe and Do Toli, and you would never know that they're different. But I randomly saw a video with both of them in it one time, and yeah. But Papa John's is the best. Like, yeah, it's too expensive. You just go to their deal section, and you never pay full price for a pizza, and then you're fine. But
we've got a place here near me called Mozzie's. And Mozzie's is really solid. And then there's also Ale Emporium. Ale Emporium does great wings, great pizza.
That's where we went, right?
Where did we go? Did we go to Ale Emporium?
I don't know. We had pizza somewhere.
Here we go, Doug.
When we're there, it's usually Greeks. Also, that's so wrong.
No.
It's so wrong.
No
Best
pineapple.
pizza is pineapple, pepperoni, onions, and jalapenos.
And jalapenos, wow.
Really? So there is a pizza I want to try that is jalapeno, pineapple with a cheese stuffed crust. I want to try it mainly because it just sounds wrong. And Samwise agrees. Apparently Samwise is a pineapple person, which I can appreciate. I was introduced to pineapple pizza before the big controversy of pineapple pizza is gross. Way back in the 90s is when I was eating pineapple pizza because my family fed it to me and I thought it was normal.
I mean, I love
on the internet and was told I was a monster.
I feel like part of it is usually you have pineapple with Canadian bacon, which is the other worst topping you can have on pizza. So it's just like there's no positive for me.
Bacon? Although, Tori, you don't like bacon, do you?
I don't like bacon. I like Canadian bacon.
Oh,
okay.
All of my guy friends are like appalled at the idea that I'm like, I don't understand what is so cool about bacon. It's not that great. And they're just like,
Have you ever watched How I Met Your Mother when Ted discovers that he likes bacon?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's one of the greatest bacon scenes ever. He's like, I found the one, and it is bacon. And he proceeds to eat like a buffet tray of bacon and then just gets so sick and then refuses to ever eat bacon again. It's fantastic. It's in season 9, so you would never see it if you've never watched the show.
I have not watched the show.
I love that show.
It's a good show.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good show. It's a little unhinged, but
all good shows are.
I'm nervous and excited to jump back into Wandering, and because it's book number 7, and it's been a long, long time since I've been in the world of Wandering Inn, and so I'm hoping I haven't forgotten any of the salient details. But I'm excited. It's going to be long. How long is that audiobook? Because it is scary long. Let's close that. Let's go to my library. I think it's Tears of the Scores, book 7. That's Tears, or is it Reigns of the Score? 33 hours and 52 minutes for a third of the volume.
Jeez.
I was gonna say that's actually not that long, but then that makes sense.
Yeah, no. Volume 7 is like 100, or is like I think 100 hours.
I
Or
say
no,
this guy's
volume
like
5.
a 30-hour.
Volume 5 is like 100 hours.
Yeah, this is a 30-hour audiobook, and you're saying that's 1/3. That's too much.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
no.
chunky.
I understand it's too much. I'm fully aware, and yet I don't care. I don't care. You know what, Rogue? I don't actually know what Canadian bacon
It's
is.
ham.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
like
ham.
thin slices of ham.
Just fried up. It's
Yeah.
just it's not the pork belly.
No.
There we go.
It's polite ham.
Oh, this chat is fantastic.
Very polite.
Canadian
Accurate.
bacon ham.
I love that.
It's very polite ham.
It knows some people don't like it, so it's always apologizing.
But it was an ending. I don't think they were ever going to be able to stick the landing satisfactorily.
Yeah, probably.
It's one of those shows that
Thank you.
it's not meant to have a good ending. It's because it's just it's meant to just go on forever. Right. So,
Wiz, check your private chat.
Oh, scroll down.
I got you, Evie.
In the car.
Yeah. Hopefully the audio is not echoey or poor, but I just had to come in while running errands, while in the car, to defend pineapple on pizza. I'm sorry. Pineapple on pizza is great. You guys can screw yourselves. Also, Papa John's is amazing. So I feel like
all right, I'm with you there.
I eat pineapple
pepperoni and pineapple is the perfect combo.
Okay. Yeah, Samwise agrees with you.
Thank you.
Is that all you had to say?
Also, I guess happy birthday, Andrew.
Well, I wasn't fishing for that, but yes,
Yeah, you were.
No, I wasn't fishing for that. She already said it in the chat. I'm sure I've probably said something inflammatory to offend EB recently.
I mean, I'm just preempting like your Realm of the Elderling state, so it's good.
Well, no, I've got Nico here for that.
Well, I love that, like, you agree with me, Evie, because with the Papa John's love, and then I'm like, we're on good footing, and then I ruin it by complaining about pineapple on pizza. So it's just like, I can't stay in your good graces.
You win some, you lose some. So
it's the story of Evie and my relationship, to be honest.
Listen, persuasion is going to be the nail in the coffin at this point.
I'm gonna like it, Evie. I'm gonna like it. There's no way I don't like persuasion. There's no way.
No pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. It's fine.
All the pressure.
I'm not worried.
The Jane Austen. You guys are on a Jane Austen kick. I want to get the folio societies of that.
Well, I read Northanger Abbey last year and liked it, and I'm very familiar with Jane Austen because I grew up watching all of the adaptations, the older ones, but I haven't read the books yet, so I'm slowly making my way through the books, and Persuasion is my next one.
I'm curious.
Pride and Prejudice, but I've got to be in like a romance mood.
Pride and Prejudice is amazing.
I'm not saying it's not. Did you just say do it, Evie?
What?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I was reading your lips and I thought
didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
I was talking about Pride and Prejudice and wanting to read it.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, you learned.
What
errands
are you running, maybe?
So apparently I accidentally turned on. How did that happen? Whatever. Anyways, yes. So I have to return some stuff at Petco. I had gone to the barn, which I just was. So I went to the barn, going to Petco now, and then I have to go to the bookstore. So.
What books are you buying at the bookstore?
Have to go to the bookstore. The 4th Dungeon Crawler Carl book when I'm not even finished with the 3rd one. But it's fine.
You mean this one? The Gate of the Feral Gods?
Yeah, yes. The one that I think it just came out, right?
Yeah, it came out within like
Was
the
that
last week.
one?
Last week or two.
Nice.
Yeah, you're not super far behind. You're fine.
I need to get those.
Yeah, they've actually got an additional story in the back.
It's so good. The Pineapple Cabaret. Speaking of pineapple.
Backstage at the Pineapple Cabaret, yes.
Yeah, did I say cafe? I meant cabaret, sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm excited for, because I think very rapidly book 5 and book 6 is coming out as well. Book 5 comes out this month.
Nice.
Yes.
And then in May, I believe book 6, Eye of the Bedlam Bride drops.
Yes.
So, yeah, going to the bookstore sounds fantastic. I shouldn't, but I could. I need to get a haircut, though. I don't know.
So many things.
Just shave it all off, and then you can just have, just shave it at home, and you can save some money.
I've been trying to convince my mother-in-law to shave her head.
Do it.
I'm not going to. Huh?
How's that going?
Not well. But I mean, she doesn't get mad. She's just like, no, because what if it doesn't grow back? That's her main concern. It's not that she won't do it. There's a concern it won't grow back because she's like 75. So, but I was just like, hey, like for the longest time post-accident, she had to wear a compression sleeve on her head. And it always led to her hair being this massive snarl. Ooh, and I was like, why don't you just shave off your hair? And he wouldn't do it. But I tried. I did try. But I was the one who had to put it because it would cup her chin and it had to fit over her ears and anyway, it was awful. Awful. I wouldn't cross pepperoni and pineapple either. I don't know if pineapple would taste good with anything other than ham.
It's the similar thing of you've got the sweet and savory flavors together. So yeah.
That's my thing with pineapple on pizza is it's not necessarily the pineapple's fault. I do not like sweet and savory combined. I either want sweet or savory. I don't want them together.
That's just sad. That makes me sad.
Sorry.
Evie, what are you currently reading, by the way? I didn't ask you.
So technically I am currently reading the third Dungeon Crawler Carl book, but I set that aside because I just felt the calling of Le Guin. So I'm also reading Tales from Earthsea as well.
Nice. Nico, did I ask you?
You did not.
Oh, I don't.
I happened to pick mine up, and I mentioned how long the audiobook is, but we have A Man Rides Through by Stephen R. Donaldson.
Wait, is this the one where you've been sending me crazy snippets from?
Yes. It took me until book 2 to realize that he's literally, because he does it much more subtly in the first book, he uses the word fornicate as a stand-in for the F word. And it starts getting so much more obvious in book 2 in some ridiculous sentences. Because it starts just being, it's a word that this literally insane guy says a lot. And so you don't think anything of it. But then somebody literally says something about like fornicate me between the eyes or something. And I'm like, are you kidding me, Donald?
I was going to say, did someone say go fornicate yourself?
It's not quite like that, but it's being used as like a curse. And it took me a while to realize it because there was something I'm like, there's no other way that could be used in that context. But, it started off with just this crazy guy who would just yell like fornication. or something out of nowhere, and it just made me laugh that he snuck that in, because like there's other normal things, so that's just like a little quirk he did. But
you sent me one page of that, of like the ebook, because you're multi-formatting it.
yeah,
And it was insanity.
well, that was the crazy adept Havelock babbling, because he's crazy and just saying random things, and yeah, it's Donaldson is weird, man. His books are so good, but they're so challenging to get into sometimes and to recommend to people, because like Thomas Covenant is super well known. Everybody hates the character. Uh, and reasonably, this is that's what I was laughing at. This is very different, but I did like a super long review and talking about the first book, The Mirror of Her Dreams, because it gets so much hate in reviews because people don't get like the main character and they're just like, oh, she's too passive, and they complain. I'm like, that's the entire point. And then like that's the entire point. She's, because of her childhood and her life, she feels that she barely like even knows if she exists, because she's so used to just being forced into the background and not being allowed to like be her own person. And thank you. I'm so glad I'm not the only one. It's so good. It is challenging to get into, for sure, I will say, but it's so good. And the Wounded Land is such a fantastic book as well. We have some Donaldson fans in here. That's great. But yeah, he writes books with characters that are very challenging to relate to sometimes, but the rewards are so good. And this book there's so much action. It's actually way more than I was expecting, and things are moving really quickly. But it's really good. It's just his books are not always the easiest to get into. And I haven't even read Gap Cycle yet. Everybody talks about that one, but that one is supposed to be real messed up. So
Is that the Seventh Decimate one? The Gap
no,
Cycle?
that's his newer series. The Gap Cycle is older. It's sci-fi, but it has like very deep in exploration of essay in it being really relevant. And I know a lot of context, so I haven't read it, but it's supposed to be extremely dark, and another challenging one to get into. But the Seventh Decimate, that's his newer series. Hopefully this year. It's been on my list for a long time. I've got these editions of it, and really, really want to read this. I just want to make sure that I have time set aside for it, because I know they're ones that require a lot of focus.
Mm-hmm.
So like I didn't want to be doing that and Words of Light and Shadow. I don't want to be doing that and nothing. I want to like have my own time for it.
Oh yeah.
All right, I am at the pet store, so if you're still going by the time I get home, I'll rejoin. But thank you, Andrew. Happy birthday. Thank you for letting me defend.
Yeah.
Defend what doesn't need defending, which is pineapple on pizza. So
We will. Apparently, this seems to be a group that is split straight down the middle, but it's not just a chat full of haters.
True.
all right, talk to you guys
Bye.
later.
See ya.
All right, now we can talk all the crap we want about pineapple. I'm just kidding. So, Chris, what you have your collection split, right? Like half of it's in the room and half of it's in the storage unit.
Yeah. Because no, not in the storage unit. So I used to have everything set up in the storage room, but then my oldest moved out, so now I'm actually in a real room with like a ceiling, and I'm not right next to the furnace anymore and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty nice. But
so
yeah,
you have your entire collection in there?
No, I do have like half of it in here, and the half is I'm putting into boxes and totes and getting it ready.
Okay.
And I'm getting rid of
Ready to
some
move.
stuff too, but yeah, I had to narrow it down on what I wanted to put in here. It gets hard.
I mean, I see that diamond edition. If you want me to store that for you, feel free to send it my way, and I'll store that diamond edition.
That comes with me. I know that is a nice one, isn't it?
And if it gets lost in the mail, it'd just be so unfortunate.
Oh, that would. I love that naked hardcover.
I know.
So nice.
I hope they do Howling Dark Diamond Edition, and then like I can get a second edition of the Diamond Edition, because Like, as soon as I was like, I don't need another edition of Empire of Silence. And then it was just like, everybody started getting them, and I was like, I made a mistake.
I always feel that way too, but it gets hard. There's just so many things. They're all so much money.
I had the new Red Rising edition that just went up. That was probably between seeing the ad for it and checking out, and it's like bought was maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah, I
maybe.
know.
Did you see it because I sent it to you, or had you already seen it?
I had multiple people send it to me, so I would have seen it, but I think yours was the first one I saw. But yeah, I saw it and I was like, thanks, bot, done.
Yep, me too.
The other one that I didn't know about was, we were talking about having multiple editions of the same book earlier, and so I have 3 copies of Never Die by Rob J. Hayes. I have the Broken Binding, and then I discovered that there was a subscription box that I hadn't heard of before called Page and Wick.
Oh yeah,
I've heard of that one. The
They
candle
did
one?
Yeah, okay, check this out, you
no.
guys.
Whoa.
Pretty cool.
Dang. That is nice.
I bought it immediately when I saw it. So it has these really cool, like, city sprayed edges. Look at the end paper, you guys.
I'm so mad.
Man.
It's still out there. You can get
so
it on
nice.
That's where I got it. I don't have a subscription to this, and it's only like $30-40 right now. So that's why I bought it, because I was like, it's not going to be $40 for long.
No.
Yeah.
But look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
We need more affordable special editions.
Amen to that.
So Broken Binding said that they were going to do Pawn's Gambit, but it's been a minute now.
I think they still will. I just think they've got a lot of other things prioritized right now, because I'm buying it the minute it comes out.
Oh yeah.
I'm waiting for Spirits of Vengeance. I can't wait for that one.
See, we disagree, because Pawn's Gambit's my favorite of the 3.
That's okay. You can like other Mortal Techniques books. I'm not mad about it.
I liked Spirits of Vengeance. It just wasn't my favorite.
I love it so much.
It's good. It's really good.
That was the one that made me cry because of an Easter egg from Never Die. I just got really emotional about it because it had to do with one of my favorite characters from Never Die.
I just finished this.
I can't wait to read those.
Oh yeah, I want to check those out too. Those are cool covers too.
So good. Rob has awesome covers.
He does.
Hey, the man's a machine. He's got what, like about 20 books now?
It's wild.
Yeah, he's written a lot really quick, and the quality he's able to pump out is ridiculous. There are a couple things where I felt like Fleet Champions had a couple things that could have been tightened up a little bit, but still, like, the quality is there. Yeah.
Yep. I heard rumor that there's going to be a 4th actual, like, novel in Mortal
I heard
Techniques,
that too.
and I'm excited about that.
I love Howling Dark Rogue.
Oh
Me
no,
too. Rogue.
that means I will probably love it.
I'm still so curious how I'm going to feel about that series. I just never get around to fitting it in. I don't know.
It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
It's
Amazon,
flip
everywhere.
case edition. It's really nice.
Yeah.
I've got my nerdy editions, so although I'm concerned that they won't do a Nerdy Inks dust jacket for Red God. So I'm fingers crossed right there. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
I can't afford the new Red Rising edition either. But
no.
It's Red Rising. There are some things I can't control. Red Rising is an auto-buy trilogy for me.
Oh.
I mean,
Tori, you're just trying to make me get in trouble, aren't you?
Why?
Nico hates Red Rising.
I know. That's okay.
I also DNF'd Never Die.
That's okay. I have so much experience with people hating my favorite series. I'm not bothered. It's okay.
I've been inured to it.
Of your favorite series too, so it's all good.
Well, I mean, with being such a huge Wheel of Time fan, Wheel of Time is one of, like, the original, just totally acceptable to trash series that so many people hate, and so I've just always been used to it myself. I'm like,
yeah.
I also like a lot of niche things, so. We have ours in common, though.
We do. Yeah. I DNF'd Eye of the World 3 times. I tried. I gave it a good shot.
That is a good shot.
knowing your taste, I think Jordan has got to be one of like the worst possible authors for you to read, just because everything that you like and don't like he's like the opposite of your preferences. So yeah, that absolutely tracks.
Tori?
Well, I'm a big fan of self-sacrifice and loyalty themes in my books, and Red Rising has some of the best self-sacrifice character arcs. I love his female. He writes amazing female warrior characters. It's science fiction enough to be cool, but it's also like fantasy enough to give you that really big, epic, like character vibes that fantasy gives you. A lot of people struggle with the first book, which I get it. I don't struggle with the first book because I love the characters, but it's very straightforward, amazing action sequences, and just the heart of that story is so deep, and I love it so much. So that's my short pitch.
Have you really not read that, Patrick? I could have sworn you would have tried that by now.
Sun Eater is dark chocolate.
Interesting. I'm starting Empire of Silence in May.
Well, considering he wrote that in high school, that's what makes it super impressive.
Rakio's smart, dude.
Yeah.
He's only like 26.
Yeah, it's so weird being older than people now. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but
let me know, Tori.
He's acclaimed.
Hello.
Like, he's acclaimed at 26.
And he deserves it. I've heard.
Sure.
Even just listening to interviews with him, I'm just like, I would listen to this guy talk about writing all day. Like,
he's smart and he's just insightful.
Super kind person too.
Super kind with his time. Yeah. Like Rakio is amazing.
Real deal.
I have them on physical. Again, I don't know where they are. I'm sure they're probably directly behind me. Oh, no, wait. I have to find them. I don't know. Oh, yeah, they are right in front of my face. Right here. So here's Dragon's Reach, Raven's Ruin, and Phoenix Rising. And I don't know when I'm reading these because they are big, thick chunkers. But it's J.A. Andrews and it reads particularly quick. So I'm not really concerned about the length all that much. I really love the Keeper Chronicles, but this is a prequel trilogy that takes place way before. So I don't know when I'm going to get to it. I initially was just like, oh, I'll do the audiobook of it. But it's by Kate Redding. And I'm not a fan of Kate Redding. And so I know if I listen to an audiobook and Kate Redding is the narrator, I'm going to be harsher on the book than the book deserves. So it's going to be down to when do I feel like physically reading the book.
Yeah. Patrick, I would say try Golden Sun because a lot of people have that reaction to the first book and then really go on to really enjoy books 2 and 3 because the setting completely changes and it kind of ages up a little bit. So yeah, if you didn't like the first book, you're in large company with a lot of people that go on to enjoy the rest of the series.
Yeah. It's got a lot in common kind of with like a little Hunger Games type of vibe. In space a little bit. I know I can see you making faces, Tori. I already know you disagree with this, but a little.
It has a battle royale trope, Andrew. That's the more appropriate thing to say about it. Hunger Games immediately makes it sound like it's
that's
not.
True. That's true.
It's not YA.
Do I think Nico would like J.A. Andrews?
Get out of here with your Thomas
that he would find it derivative. He would enjoy it as just a light read. I think I'd sent it to him. I think I gave him the Keeper. Didn't I send that to you, Nico?
I have the ebook with that. It looks good.
I got the audiobook like a day before this arrived in the mail because I didn't know this was coming. So I'll try it at some point. Expectations are important there. You've kind of told me what to expect.
It's a solid, just standard fantasy. It's nothing that's reinventing the wheel. I would like attribute it to kind of like 90s style fantasy or early 2000s style of fantasy, which is your jam.
I was
going to say, is this a male or a female author?
The female author.
Because if you're telling me this is 90s female fantasy style, and you didn't tell me that before, you know how much sooner I probably would have read this?
Well, it's good. I tore through it, and I backed the Kickstarters of those books, which is why I think I sent you that one. I think that was my copy. Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. But because you just sent me a copy you had of it.
Yeah. So I was just like, I don't need 2 copies of it. I'm waiting on my Kickstarter for book number 3. So and we finally got like an update like 2 days ago, and it's still like a few months out.
Kickstarters take so long.
They take forever.
Yeah, so annoying.
And I just backed John Bierce's Wraithmarked Kickstarter because I like the Mage Errant series and I don't own physical copies of them anyway. And like I was like, "Hey John, can I get a signed copy?" And he's like, "I live in Vietnam. No." I was just like, fair enough.
Pretty good reason though.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good reason to say no. But yeah, I mean,
imagine the shipping.
Oh yeah,
crazy. A couple dollars here or there, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I still just I couldn't believe how much shipping from the U.S. to Canada was. Because I got an entire box this big of books sent to me from Florida, and for that it cost me more to send one single book to Kay in Canada than the entire box cost to get to me from Florida. And the distance was shorter.
Right.
It was a shorter distance where it was going in Canada than Florida to Iowa. And I'm just like, come on.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's wild. I routinely was just like, I have a bunch of Canadian friends and I would love to send them books as gifts and stuff like that. And like, it could just be a book that I like have on my shelf. I'm like, this isn't for me, but I know who would love this. And I was like, maybe I can send it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is why whenever it's like the question of like what magic if you could do would you take, I would totally traveling for the Wheel of Time and I would start a shipping business and I would be the richest person in the world like overnight. And I'm like immediate shipping anywhere you want to go and it's cheaper than anything. I mean, man.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, no, just not even just shipping, but immediate like instantaneous travel. That would be amazing.
We need blue powder is what we need.
Well, yeah, but I can't. Yeah, I'd have to buy a warehouse, and then you bring the stuff to the warehouse, and then you don't know how it gets there so quickly. I can't let people know I have magic.
That's true.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Flu powder. The problem with flu powder is if you sneeze and or misspeak, you're in trouble.
The problem with flu powder.
Tweak a few things. We're so nerdy. The problem with flu powder.
The problem with flu powder is the same problem with most things in Harry Potter. Is it's really dumb and does not hold up to any sort of analysis.
Oh, all right, Nico. Easy.
One of my favorite Harry Potter rants is the fact that the owls are just animal cruelty. Because if you have the ability to teleport anywhere at any given time and instead you send your messages via bird.
Well, I mean, it takes time.
For the aesthetic.
Yeah, like it's easier if you're busy and you don't have time to flu powder all over the place.
Or apparate.
Well, not everybody can apparate though.
Yeah, but I mean, it's part of getting your like wizard degree, isn't it? Like at 5th years, you have to learn how to apparate.
I haven't read the books yet. I'm reading them next month or May.
Oh, well, never mind. Ignore everything I just said.
Yeah, don't spoil anything, wizard.
Yeah, right. My bad.
So you're going to read them for the first time, Tori?
In May.
Wow.
Tell me your thoughts, please, because I am so curious. And I know obviously you're familiar with the story, but I am so curious what you will think reading them for the first time as an adult. So
me too. I've read the first one already.
Okay.
But there's a couple of character storylines that I'm going to be like digging into a little bit when I read. So yeah, I'm excited.
It was my favorite series growing up. I read it 6 times.
Wow.
Ish. Except I think I've only read the final book once because I had aged out. I was just like, 18, and I was just like, I'm too cool for Harry Potter, but I can't not know how it ends. So I read it.
I never read book 2 or the last book. I also never saw the last movie, and that doesn't bother me. I don't really care.
You didn't read book 2?
I had a weird reading of them because I was gifted Order of the Phoenix, and then like back in the day, the first book got read in like every elementary school class every year, and so I was familiar with that. Actually, book 3 is one of the last ones I read too. I just like read them because they were around, and like I had to find a book to do that counted for tests or something or another. But I started reading Wheel of Time at 11. I just didn't care about Harry Potter. I was all Wheel of Time.
Harry Potter was one of the first books I ever read.
I grew up with the it's witchcraft, you can't read that, it's evil kind of thing. Yep. So yeah, I figured you did too.
There's a reason I haven't read them yet.
I figured that tracked.
Yep.
Yeah.
I never had a restriction on anything I was allowed to read.
Me neither.
My mom made the mistake at one point when I was like 10 or 11 of being like, okay, so these are the books on the bookshelf that you're allowed to read, and these are the books on the bookshelf that you're not allowed to read. And of course, the first ones I read were the ones that I wasn't allowed to read.
Right.
And those are still some of my favorite books to this day. So, you know.
That's spite is actually a fairly common motivator for kids to read, and you know it's a net positive. So
yeah.
And now my mom's like, why do you like all these dark books? Read something with a happy ending. I'm like, overrated.
And yet, we were both disappointed by Joe Abercrombie.
It's true. It's true.
Actually, I think 3 of us here. I don't know about you, Chris.
Based on his shelf, I'm assuming that he has a stronger, a more positive opinion.
Yeah, I love First Law. What at the very end of like the 9th book?
No,
I only read the first trilogy.
Oh, the first trilogy.
Yeah, did not like the end of the first trilogy at all.
Okay.
Nope.
Last Argument of Kings fell flat for me in the last 20%.
I almost threw the book across the room.
I did also read the three standalones, which I thought were fine.
Yeah,
I've read
the Heroes. The Heroes is so close to being an excellent book. If anybody else, like if Abercrombie could just stop himself from just like beating you over the head with sarcasm, it would be such a good book. But he has to ruin it at the end. It's one of those things. That book it's so good in so many ways. If anybody else wrote it, it would probably be one of my favorite books. There's so much potential, but he just ruins it because it's him as a writer. It just irritates me. But.
I loved Before We Are Hanged. That was Before We Are Hanged. That one was like in the first, because I had also read Shattered Sea trilogy by him, and he also dropped the ball in the ending with me. The third book was absolute awful. But Before They Are Hanged, I really liked that book a lot. And Jezal's character arc is one of my favorites of that year. It was really good.
Yeah.
Chris, if you're a big Abercrombie fan, this author is a huge Abercrombie fan.
Yep. I love that book. It's very good. I never read the second one yet, but
I have the second one on my shelf.
Everyone is trying to temper my expectations with it. I keep hearing that I may not.
Yeah,
like it.
It's such a toss-up for you, Andrew. I'm super surprised I liked it because I started reading it because I started these. The author sent that to me. I just met him on a Guy Gabriel K buddy read. Didn't really know any. I had Reeve and Earth on my wish list just because I saw the cover on like Twitter or something. I'm like, that is beautiful. I want that. And then I completely independently met the author, and he just said, he's like, hey, if you want copies, I'll send it to you, and just if you want to read them. And I'm like, sure. And I start reading it, and I message him. I'm like, you're a big Abercrombie fan, aren't you? And I'm like, because it's just there's a lot of things that are not typically for me. But I love the world building, and I think he executes a lot of it really well. So I read.
You also have a deep love of dinosaurs, and the fact that there's
dinosaurs. Like, look at this. This is like, look at this. It's amazing. I love the covers, but this one with the dinosaurs, and like I'm super excited with this one especially. But the world is just cool. Like there's some stuff that's not for me, but there's the world building is really what pulled me through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world building is very cool. And that prologue, I have to say, the prologue of Riven Earth is one of my
Oh,
favorite fantasy prologues I have ever
very
read.
good.
It is
Yeah.
like 5-star everywhere.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So good.
I'll give it a whirl.
It could go either way.
Like,
I don't know.
I saw the cover and I reached out to the author. I think Tori and I both did this like separately.
Yep.
We both reached out to the author and we're like, we're gonna buy your books directly from you. And he's like, I'm not set up to like ship books. I don't know how to do that.
Also, I'm from Canada.
Yeah, we bought the books, signed copies, to be shipped to us from Canada from the author. We were the first ones to do it.
Yep.
What way to make me feel bad?
Flex.
He just offered to send it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wrote me a really sweet note in the copy of the first one too. It was
What's
awesome.
also funny is I was the first person to buy off of the author website, The Hunter by Kay Agard, and I still haven't read this. But I was order number 1.
Nice. It's like somebody on Twitter a couple days ago was like, would you ever buy a debut author's book that doesn't have any ratings? I was like, dude, I do that all the time. Where do you live?
I was gonna say I've several times I've been like, hey, this book that has no reviews at all on Goodreads, I'm gonna try and get you to read it now.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes too, but
oh, Rogue, I don't know.
What isn't the most recent?
Well, I don't. The problem is when I DNF, I erase it from my brain. My ADHD just goes, that never happened, and so I don't keep a running list.
I've had to start writing it down because I will absolutely forget myself to do that. I don't even DNF a crazy amount, but when I'm trying to do like a wrap up and I'm like, oh gosh, did I DNF something this month? What was it? I got like that actual little thing.
I keep it in my bullet journal now.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. The closest thing to a DNF I have right now is Wind and Truth. It's not a DNF.
You still haven't called that a DNF.
I haven't
called
it
a DNF.
It's no, because I'm gonna pick it back up right where I left off.
It's a soft DNF.
Yeah.
Man, that was one of the hardest. That might be one of the hardest DNFs I've ever had in my entire life. So.
You DNF'd like Sanderson hard. It was funny because for the last like 2 years, I've been very critical of Sanderson. And Nico was just like, no, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's fine. Like, I still really enjoy Sanderson's works. Da-da-da-da-da. As soon as Wind and Truth dropped, our positions flipped. And then Nico went, like, further to, like, he's like, I'm unhauling all of anything that's not a special edition.
I said, those are all I have. I don't own a single other Sanderson book anymore.
I now have your Era 2 Mistborns.
Yeah. I think I actually still, I have a Warbreaker and Elantris in my own haul pile because somebody local to me said they wanted them and then never got back to me. So I still have those.
I haven't even read Wind and Truth yet, and I almost unhauled my Stormlight archive, not even having read it yet. Like I haven't. I'm trying to be good, but
I don't. I've tried to not mention it anymore because my video got way more attention than I ever thought it would, and I'm like, gosh, that reminds me why I like being a small booktuber, because it just got exhausting. But yeah,
I had a video recently take off, and the comments just would not stop coming.
Yeah, and it's exhausting, but it's just like Wind and Truth. I don't think I've ever seen such a drop in quality from an author ever. Is the thing, and like it's okay if you still like it. So like it's part of it's just that I am not continuing the Cosmere. I won't read anything else in Stormlight, and if I don't read Stormlight, I can't really read anything else in the Cosmere. And like I still have a lot of nostalgia. I still really like the early books, which I have in the Leatherbound editions, which I will keep forever. So those are the books that I really, felt the most about. But I had stopped buying those after Way of Kings. That's the last one I bought. Very good decision in hindsight. So it's not that like it's ruined his other books. It's just that most of them I'm probably not going to reread again. Like a lot of them I already have, but it's just like, I'm probably not going to. The books I love the most, I have the nice editions for, and it cleared up a lot of shelf space too. And so, I mean, it's just like, also the fact that I I've been told some details about when to trip. I was actually in a spoiler live show, which was kind of funny. As they were trying to do a sliding scale of like to hate, and I was the hate one. But like, I don't care how it ends. It hasn't bothered me. I've not once been tempted to go back to it, and it was the right decision for me. And yeah, I still have the ones that I love. I might still reread those at some point, and that's 100% possible. But it's just kind of when all your stuff's tied together. If I DNF the main one, I kind of have to not read the rest either. So.
Well, and I don't know, like after the end of Mistborn Era 2, like, do we need an Era 3?
Era 3 sounds like I'm not going to like it at all, from what I've heard about it. And it's just the direction he seems to be going to made me not very interested in the new stuff. And also, like, I never read Cytonic. I meant to, but I just didn't really care. I read the first 3, and I had copies, and so that's where I'm just like, I'm not going to read that. I've actually been getting rid of some of my Sanderson collection because I used to just buy all of his books. But like, I didn't really like Reckoners that much. And so I got rid of those years ago. I liked Legion, but also like I probably wasn't going to reread it, so I ended up getting rid of my copy of that. White Sand was apparently worth money. I sold my original hardcover for like $70 actually.
Oh wow!
Because apparently the original one you can't get anymore, and I bought it just new at the time. But so I didn't buy a copy of Cytonic because I'm just like, I don't care that much, because that series started out pretty good and then just got a little worse with each book.
Cytonic was a mess, to be honest.
Was it? Yeah. So
yeah, I didn't finish it. I got about halfway through and I was like, what am I reading?
Yeah, it seemed like it was just too many ideas in one.
Yeah.
Because like the little short story that inspired that was really interesting, but he didn't start trying to incorporate that until like book 3, and it just felt messy. But yeah, and it's just like the Reckoners, I feel like was the same for me, where it got worse each book. The first book was really fun. I thought the ending was dumb, felt rushed, and I didn't care for it. I never read White Sand either, and I had no intention to. I just had it because he published it, and I used to get all of his books. But yeah, now I have all this extra room for special editions and other stuff here that fits on the shelf because there's room now. So.
Yeah. Derry, this is a hard question.
It is a hard question.
That is a hard question.
And like, I'm looking around going, what's something that wasn't good? Do I feel confident saying that, like, it wasn't good, but I still liked it?
That's hard. I don't know.
Because
that's what my most recent video was about. So this book was so bad, but it was like reading a B movie, and I had so much fun with it. It was so dumb. And I don't recommend, unless you want to read something that's just kind of dumb as a popcorn. It was not good. This has a name worse than Grag, because there's a character called Gringers.
Oh,
Gringers. But
that's an interesting name.
I wonder if there's like a Stephen King book that is just absolutely garbage, but I still liked it.
I'm trying to think what else would fit in this.
Well, because the hard part is I don't know that I would say that, like, define good, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm getting a little too philosophical about it, but
I feel like it's something that like objectively is not of a high quality, but is still enjoyable.
I'm gonna say
usually it's like nostalgia books, I feel like.
Which is Repairman Jack #2.
I know you didn't like that.
Well, it's not that I didn't like it. It's that it changes the format of the series a little bit, where this kind of goes a little bit like sci-fi when the first book was more supernatural. And so I was wanting that supernatural vibe. And also, like, it felt like F. Paul Wilson had a bone to pick with the state of the world around HIV/AIDS. Because he's a doctor, so he's already got that. And then there's just like a huge focus on this, but it's more of a side thing that's going on in the book and not particularly relevant after, say, like the first couple chapters. Like there's this whole character who is like suffering and has an infection, and you're just like, great, like where's this story going? And it doesn't really go anywhere. So I'm gonna say Legacies. I still liked it, but it wasn't up to par.
Yeah.
So that's my answer for that one.
It's a good one.
Mhm.
Although Evie does have a good answer.
Good answer.
Yeah, that's fair.
Andrew, you ruined that series for me in some ways, doing a reread with you.
I'm so sorry.
All of your complaints were so valid. It's just the last time I had read it, I was so blinded by nostalgia that my brain's just like, this is good. And then you pointed out everything, and I'm like, yeah, okay, these are all really valid criticisms.
I still love the Dragonlance Chronicles, but like I could never read it again.
I won't at this point. You've taken that away. I just like to keep remembering all the little things. Which
I just did a video recommending Blackstone Heart.
I really liked the series.
Yeah.
It is super crazy, but I really enjoyed that one for sure. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I read Dragonlance when I had to have been quite young because it was before Wheel of Time. And I also, apparently when I was like 11 years old, I wrote something and I absolutely like pulled some stuff from Dragonlance and took like some of their in-world stuff and used. But I'm actually reading book 2 and 3 in April of this one. So that's Tekla and Yendi, I think. So yeah, in April.
I need to get the bind up for the new bind up for the Dragonlance just because of nostalgia. But like, I will never read it again.
I might have
Why
gotten
would
rid
you
of mine.
want it if you're not going to read it again?
Because I've already read
So
it like 7
confused.
times.
Okay.
Like it's a series that like I grew up very young. Like when I used to go to the library, it was there. I would always pick through the collection. I got through like 3 different Mass Micro paperbacks that I read so many times and lent out so many times that I had to keep buying it again because I kept like I've got my bits of my life are tied up in that trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
But as I read it as an adult, I'm like, this is atrocious. Why did nobody point this out to me?
One of those things. But
It was. I think we were doing a buddy read, and the reaction to I think it was like the first book or 2 was so bad that like
everyone dropped.
Everybody dropped. Everyone dropped, as I recall. And all of us were just like, we didn't see this coming. And then I tried Deathgate Cycle, and I was just like, I didn't like that either. And I was just like, this is a sad day for my fandom for Margaret Wise and Tracy Hickman. That's what that was.
Yeah, I meant to try that for so long, and I just eventually got rid of the books because I'm just like, I'm probably not going to. Oh, that makes me sad.
What? What makes you sad?
He's saying one of the Stephen Bruce books is like the worst one in the series.
One you're getting ready to read, right?
Yeah. So, but I'll keep that in mind at least.
Yeah, Evie dropped halfway through the second book. Like she didn't even finish it. Tekla, I believe that's Deathgate Cycle. No, Tekla is
that's Vlad Tautos by Stephen Bruce. You have to say it like you think Sean Connery would say it to get it right.
Thanks, Ted. Ted runs an awesome booktuber Discord that I just recently joined.
I'm in too many Discords.
Me too. At one point, I was in over 25 Discords and active in like 3 of them. I'm still not active in really all that many.
Well, I'm
active in the Book Street Boys occasionally.
The Book Street Boy? I don't even know that one.
That's Creature. I think that's Chris. That's you too, Chris.
Yep.
That's
I love that name.
Nerd Level Rising and
Nerd Level Rising.
Yep.
And Spaced Out Books, right?
Yep.
Who just hit 10K.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Dylan.
I'm so bad about being in other Discords that I'm team captain for a readathon in April over in Jake the Bookish Drummer server, and people were in my channel for like a week or 2 before I noticed. I'm like, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm a bad team captain.
You're not a bad team captain.
I did love though that Jake let his patrons sign up first. None of them picked his team. They all picked one of the other captains, and that made me laugh so hard. And so we're in his server, all people, and everybody's talking about we're all coming after him because he won the last two, and so everybody's coming after Jake and his own readathon, and it's just great.
I love how everybody's asking Nico's opinion on my live stream.
Well, it's weird because we had all the Donaldson fans. I'm like, which was expected, but that's such a hard one. But I mean, honestly, I want more people to read Wars of Light and Shadow because that has eclipsed Wheel of Time for me, which still kind of shocks me, but it's so good. So they're both great though. So you can't.
And I DNF'd it 70% through book one.
And that's not surprising to me at all. And that is okay. But
that's my most recent DNF.
I wanted you to read them, and I know you appreciated some things, but also I just knew that series was probably not going to end up being for you, which is just fine. It's stylistically, that's like where our style really goes differently. So
well, and when I got to the linchpin moment for the rest of the series, and I just disagreed with the execution, I knew I was done. I was just like, nope, this doesn't work for me. I just felt so much stuff could have been done differently. There were so many conversations that could have been had in the moment, and nothing occurs. It's just allowed to happen, and I walked away.
It's okay, Nico. Don't cry.
I say resume Wheel of Time.
I do, and I see. I would be so curious, Andrew, if you were reading Wheel of Time for the first time today.
I would hate it.
I think you would hate it so much, and I think you would DNF
it.
And that's what's so funny to me. Like, I seriously, it would be so funny to hear you go through for the first time, and like knowing how much of a fan you are, see like how different it would be. So. That would be really fun. If you ever get amnesia, I'm making you read Wheel of Time. Yes, 100%.
You're gonna force me to vlog. It's like I remember I read these, but I don't remember a single thing. You gotta vlog this.
It would be so much joy.
I once in D&D I ran a character who was a dwarf blacksmith named Flint because of Flint Fireforge.
Is a great character.
I love Flint Fireforge so much. He's such a grumpy old dwarf. Brian, I will shoot you an invite if you want to come. If you want to come on, I would love to talk to Brian from BellTube.
Brian's awesome.
Brian is one of the bestest. Let's see. Aha,
I feel like I just read a
book. Pineapple.
Or Pineapple. What?
Yep.
Yeah, that's his username in Discord.
Oh, I didn't know. I was like, where did that come from? We talked about pineapple earlier. But, I just read a book I feel like he would like, or if he's joining, I was going to say I can tell there, but Ravine of Blood and Shadow, the first book, Annals of the Nameless Dwarf. I did not care for it at all, but it has sort of a gamelet feel, and it's like dwarves and coarse humor and stuff like that, and just wasn't for me. But the opening scene is a dwarf assisting in the C-section birth of his son, and then he has to pull him out by the beard out of the womb. He uses a sword, by the way. That's how this book opens, and I'm just like, oh boy, I don't think this is going to be for me. And it wasn't, but it was interesting.
And it wasn't. Why did your voice just jump up 3 octaves? Evie says it all comes back to pineapple.
Just like How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Brian, I didn't know what Brian's real name was for a really long time because I met him in the 2023 Keymark readathon where he was on the Beanie Barbarians team. And it's one of those things where, like, especially, you know how when booktubers have like an alias in their YouTube title and you've known them for a while and you like try to artfully avoid using their name because you don't actually know what it is. Yeah.
Sometimes it's ingrained because like we have a mod on our Discord who is one of the earliest members of the Discord, and his screen name is Narsil, and I know what his real name is. I never it does not like it. I never think to call him his real name. Calling him his real name would feel weird to me.
It's
and
James,
I just
isn't it?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it's not though. It's Narsil. Like his name is Narsil, and it's just
Yeah.
like that is absolutely his name to me, 100%.
Yep.
Thank you.
That is a great channel name.
That's an awesome profile picture.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
That is so cool.
I'm gonna go subscribe. Hold on.
Can I? Well, hold on. Broken English book reviews. I'm going to go subscribe as well. Excuse me while we just do this thing.
It's fine. I'm already subscribed, so.
I see how
I'm
it
gonna
is.
laugh if I'm already subscribed.
There's 23, so there weren't many, but that's just such a fantastic.
There we go.
Oh well, there's a review of Bloodstones from 8 months ago, so that makes sense. Possibly why Tori might have been aware.
Yes. In fairness, I do subscribe to people without them reviewing my book. Just throw that out there.
I recently got some book mail that I found on Amazon, and it's this. I'm going to talk about this in my book haul.
Go for it.
I can't read that.
This is Ironheart.
It's mine, Nico.
I was about to say. I was assuming like is that Tori, but
this
is
what a 16-year-old Tori. This is a 16-year-old Tori's book.
Man.
Oh, is that the horse book?
No.
That's my first fantasy
that was
novel.
earlier.
That's my
Okay.
first fantasy
Those are
novel.
cute.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And then this is the sequel, The Iron Spear to Ironheart. And I've got books 3 through 6 of the Horsey books. I need to
1
get
and 2 are out of print. Yeah.
I
My
need to get
mom
1 and 2.
has, if you want lots of copies of the rest of them, my mother has boxes of them in her basement.
I bet you I can find books 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
What age range are those?
Which ones?
The horse ones.
The horse ones, like 7 to 14, depending on if you're reading them with the child or if the child is reading on their own. So
I should snag some copies.
Man,
from
I
you,
haven't
'cause
picked
I have
those
a
in a
couple of
long
nieces.
time.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is.
And then this is a poetry
yep.
that she did with Ben
when we were engaged.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I had. I'm going to do a video on my channel at some point talking about all of that, but yeah.
I think you should polish them up and redo them.
No, I will never do that. I'm sorry, Andrew.
What about just redo Ironheart and
Nope.
No.
I've
this
moved
is my
on.
recent book mail.
Oh, nice.
You're welcome.
I'm in a new chapter.
I sent that to you for your birthday.
Yes, this is the only book I received for my birthday, Andrew. It was you.
What? Oh, hold on. I have to go buy you a book now.
You do not have to buy me a book.
Nope. That's not an option.
Unlike some people, I don't at our entire Discord server and do a live stream to fishing for a happy birthday. No,
Listen. If I didn't need attention, I wouldn't be on the internet. Okay.
Fair enough.
I haven't gotten a all caps "I need attention" text message from Andrew in at least a week, so I was getting a little worried.
No, I did post one in our chat with Murphy, and
That's
nobody
true, you
responded to me.
I thought I responded. Did I not? I thought I responded.
Do you want to let Brian in, by the way?
I think Brian's trying to get in.
Yeah, Couch Potato Brian.
Yes.
What's going on? Happy birthday, magical wizard man.
Thanks, Brian. I love Brian the Hidden.
Brian the Hidden, he's very different than normal Bell2 host. He's just,
just here to.
He's obscure.
But why are you white?
What?
It's a Lord of the Rings
The Scandinavian genes, probably, Nico.
I was expecting your hoodie to be gray, and it turned out white. So
look at Jake with his statue in the back.
Oh yeah, look at that.
This is my more professional setup here.
Oh wow, I see.
This is the setup that Jake is going to use to take down Philip Chase.
Indeed.
This is when I, make my anonymous announcements. This is basically my version of the anonymous mask, I think.
You think?
Attention, people of the internet. Yes.
Yeah, John's calling me out because I don't do live streams anymore. So a birthday is a good time for one. There.
Mhm.
Ha, have that, Nico.
There you go. Happy birthday, by the way.
I
dude.
mean,
Thank you.
I haven't done one in a while. I've just realized that my my patron thing is supposed to be tomorrow, and I've not actually officially scheduled.
I need
Maybe.
to schedule my
That's nice.
Patreon thing.
My patrons are so patient.
I am just happy that anybody supports me at this point.
It's true.
This is true. I have like the most backwards patron structure because you'd expect like you have several people in the low tier and maybe a couple in the middle and like one or two in the high. Mine goes the exact opposite. Most of them are in the high tier. There's a couple in the middle and then one in the low. I'm like, what is this? I'm gonna have to like rework my perks though. Too many people at the high tier.
Speaking of the power trip, one time I hopped in to talk to somebody in Nico's patron area and I got yelled at.
Which he's not allowed to be in.
But I have admin access to the server, so I can just get in there.
It was like a month ago. I was more joking. Well, it was the last month one. It was very beginning of March, but we were doing our the first big one, a patron chat for the Parabian tier. And we went for about an hour, and then I left, and a couple other people left, and then it was like an hour and a half, 2 hours later, and I'm like, two of them are still in there, and so is Andrew, and I'm like, what's even happening here? It's just still been going, and so I popped in to say hi again. But
to be fair, I did not take part in perks that I did not subscribe to.
I was just giving you crap. As I say, yeah, being co-admin on the server kind of, lets you in anywhere, so.
Yeah.
Nico, what were you going to ask me? Because when I popped on, it was like...
So a book I read recently called Ravine of Blood and Shadow. It's the first book of Annals of the Nameless Dwarf. It feels like it would be up your alley. I did not care for it, but I know you're really into like game lit RPG, and it had kind of a game lit feel to it.
Oh.
So I did immediately recommend it to somebody else too. It was one of those books from like, I didn't care for it, but immediately I'm like, yeah, other people will enjoy this. So.
Cool. I hated this book, but Brian would love it.
You're a lot more into like the game lit RPG stuff than I am. I know. So.
I am. But there's so much schlock out there. It's Andrew knows. I mean, Andrew's listened to a lot of this stuff. There's such a bigger range of awful lit RPG to stupendously great lit RPG. I think the range is bigger in that genre than any other genre.
I could see that.
I don't know why.
I would recommend The Good Guys to you.
Yeah, I love The Good Guys.
It's really fun.
On my drive up to, I had like a 3-hour drive up to ICFA, right? And so I was listening to the audiobook of Dungeon Crawler Carl, and I could barely stay awake. I had to turn it off and put some. I can't do it. I can't do it.
You didn't like it?
Oh, he's got Mike syndrome.
I can't do it.
Much bad.
Dungeon Crawler Carl for me is the exception to the rule so far. Besides, I still don't understand why, but I like to beware of chicken, which is like a progression, and it's so dumb. I don't know why. I like legitimately enjoyed it. I think it was just right time, right place. But I didn't like Cradle. Wasn't for me with the progression. I know lit RPG is different, but I tend to progression and game lit and lit RPG all sits in the same part of my brain because I've had similar experiences. But I love Dungeon Crawler Carl a lot, but even sometimes the game mechanics get a little bit tiresome for me. But the audio I think is a big part of that too, though. So I will add the Good Guys series to my list, though.
Yeah, dude, you'd like it. It's good. And if you're doing audio, I love Neil Helger's.
I need to check out the audiobook.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, Neil Helger's I really like Eric Ueglin's sense of humor. He's just a really funny guy. But it's paired perfectly well with who they got to do the narration for all these series. They just did a really good job because you never know. But because there's great audio narrators that you know, like Andrew famously doesn't like, which one was it? Was it Tim Gerard Reynolds that you didn't like some of his stuff? When you went
I would say TGR, I've got to be in the mood for, and I've got to listen to him at the correct speed.
Yeah.
For me, it's Stephen Brand, who is usually Stephen Brand and Kate Redding don't work for me.
Yeah. Got it.
The new one that I love, and he's not like, I mean, he's good, but he's not one of like the really like big like different voices or anything, is Scott Brick. He does like all of Donaldson's stuff, and I really, really like his narration style. He's not super performative or anything, but it's just for some reason it works so well for me.
Who's the one that I'm really vibing with right now? Newsgate's narrator. And I'm going to feel stupid as soon as I see it. Bronson Pinchot.
Yeah, Balky Bartakamus from Perfect Strangers. You guys are all too young to know who the hell I'm talking about.
But
John
Bronson, he is an amazing narrator.
John Minton and I were talking about Bronson this morning. So,
okay.
Yeah. I mean, famous 80s sitcom, Perfect Strangers. He was the lead character.
Also, Jake, I hope I didn't ruin your day this morning.
No. Okay, so
I texted you this morning.
Yeah, Gary knows. Yeah,
I knew already. So it's funny, right? I've been a Wheel of Time fan for so long, and I know exactly I know all the stories. I know everything, but for some reason I didn't put it together at the time, which is hilarious. And so I'm like, whoa, they have a signed whatever, and yeah. So
I texted Jake this morning, and I was just like, about what you said in your ICFA video.
Yeah. Just hope it's so funny. It's so fun. It's so ironic, but still a $4 first edition hardcover in mint condition.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah. So
that's not bad. Where did Nico go? Did he run away?
Yeah,
he said he had to. Yeah.
He came on to give me his discarded books, and then he split.
I'll give him crap about it later.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And Derry, I did send you an invite too if you want to jump on.
Andrew, guess what I'm reading right now? Guess what book it is? It's number 5 in our team.
Nice.
I'm going to finish it tomorrow. Oh, that's right. Chris is a cheerleader and member as well.
Yeah.
Andrew, you're not going to be able to guess. I just show you.
Yeah.
You probably told me and I forgot.
Yes.
Oh,
let's go.
Nice.
I love that book.
Nice. I need to read a book. I need to read a book. Need to read that book.
I got 200 pages left. This will take me maybe 3 or 4 hours max to get through the rest of it. So we are good to go for the readathon team.
Boom.
For sure today. If not today, then tomorrow. But maybe
it's gonna be close. It's gonna be a close race at the end here.
But I saved this little guy for after January.
Strategy.
And I just did huge books.
Love to see it.
And then
how does that compare to the Alex Vare series?
Honestly, not well for me right yet. To me, Alex Verus is much better, but I'm only 100 pages into this. And, I've finished Alex Verus. And so I don't have a memory of what the first 100 pages of Alex Verus was. So I don't know that that I can compare apples to apples. Hard to say 100 pages versus 12 books.
Right.
I like the premise of Alex Verus better because the protagonist is a little bit older, and this is much younger stuff going on. It feels maybe borderline YA. I don't know yet, but I'm not disliking the book at all. I like it. I like Benedict Jacka as an author. So, yeah, Doug would remember, and Mike would remember. He just finished the first book, and he was just okay on it.
Yeah, Mike was not enthused.
Yeah, but I mean, I told him even it takes 3 books. And that's the thing with that author is the short books. They're barely 300 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So, the ask isn't a huge ask to say, hey, you got to get through the first 3 books. And by the way, they're each 900 pages long.
Yeah, that's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I read Verus. I think I read Verus in 2018.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I read Ferris.
Keep trucking on Sandman Slim, man.
Yeah, I need to.
Fell off that at where? Book 3?
Yeah, I'm on book 3. Book 2 was bad.
Yeah, book 2 for me and Sandman Slim is the worst of the books.
Okay.
So once you're through book 2, it's sort of like Dresden. To me, Full Moon is the worst of the books.
Mm-hmm.
There was just something about Sandman Slim book 2 that rubbed me really the wrong way. It wasn't so much the story. It was the fact that it felt like it was book 7. It felt like we were trying to rush to a finale, like he maybe only didn't know if he was going to get another book.
Maybe.
Deal.
Yeah. I mean, I think clearly for me, that's Kill the Dead is book 2. I think it's the worst book.
Yeah.
So you're past that. Read Aloha from Hell, which by the way has like the greatest name of a book ever. Aloha from Hell. Come on. It's a great title. Yeah.
I need to do another TBR takeover here soon, so maybe I'll just give you the keys and let you do that. So maybe we'll shoot for like May or June. You can do a TBR takeover.
I know your taste fairly well enough. What I don't know is your mood at the time that you pick up the book, because that's where it's hard to make a TBR for you.
I mean, if you go for urban fantasy or zany, wild stuff, or entertaining like Good Guys and stuff, there's a good chance I'll be just fine.
Yeah, I'm like hit or miss with Tori. There's books that I think she'll love and nope, and then there's books that I think she'll be mid on, and she's like, "No, I love this book." Oh.
I remember when she was like, "I'm reading The Gunslinger," and I was like, "You're gonna hate The Gunslinger."
The funny thing about that, though, is the beginning of The Gunslinger in terms of the atmosphere and the writing, and like when he's out in the desert. I loved it. As soon as we got to town and all of the really stupidly weird sexual stuff started in, I was like, and I'm out. Bye. Yeah. Like, that's not the story I was getting, I thought.
For me, the second half of The Gunslinger and a huge chunk of Song of Susanna in book 6 are the worst parts of Dark Tower.
The weird sexual stuff in Wizard and Glass is what ruins Wizard and Glass for me, which I think it's some of the best character work that King has ever done, and he just has to ruin it with weird stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I was also bad at picking books for Jake too, but I wanted him to. He wanted to try Lit RPG.
I wanted to try it. I haven't tried the other one yet.
I just don't think it's totally his jam. Maybe I don't know. I mean, he's also. I'm saying like he's not here, but Jake, you're also like into epic fantasy so much and into space opera so much that it just may not be the right. Or maybe science fiction lit RPG might be something that you'd be into, since you love Sun Eaters. Like, hi, Derry.
Hey, Derry.
Hi. How is everybody?
I just invited all of my favorite people, so.
I feel so flattered.
Derry was the only one that knew Bronson Ping show, so hooray.
Yeah, man.
I'm loving
us all just have to stick together, Brian.
Yes.
I love the setup, Derry. I don't know if I've seen it yet.
No, this is literally its very first outing.
I love it.
The debut. Awesome.
Yeah. So it will probably change because I'm a bit like that. I need to rearrange my space fairly regularly. So this is its first iteration. But I'm hoping that it will work and continue to do well.
I don't know why Rogue watches my channel, to be perfectly honest. I appreciate it. I really do. I love chatting with Rogue, but Rogue is always like,
great.
I hate that book.
How else do you hear opinions about books you aren't going to read yourself?
Exactly.
No, that's very, very true.
Yeah.
Here's an unsolicited comment. Or compliment. I think when Tori really puts her brains to making a video, there's not that many people that I watch on BookTube that I think are better. Like Tori rocks at making excellent videos when it's like something that she's passionate about. Huge compliment.
The most recent.
I was watching the little catalog the other day, and I was like, Tori just. Yeah, if she's in the right headspace to really crank out a top level video, hard to find much better. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Since I happened to see you here, I thought I'd pass along a compliment.
Nice.
I don't know what to say.
That's okay.
It's
I
funny
did
because
giggle with your last one.
thank you. Yeah, well, some of the
It's great.
comments, I love when my videos go outside my typical audience, and then I get the people on the internet in my comments. And I'm at a point now where, like, when I was first, a smaller booktuber, and I was new, and I'd only been doing it for a couple of years, I was very cautious about being sassy with my commenters, and I don't have that inhibition anymore. So, like, whenever people give me some really crappy comments, I'm just like, I'll give it right back to them now, because it's
nice.
Might as well.
But it's your channel.
Yeah, and if they're coming on and being rude for no reason, I'm just like, okay.
You shared one with me. I think it was last night.
Yeah, I had a guy come on, and he just had a lack of interest in my channel because I took 8 minutes to say 1 minute's worth of content, and I was like, well, the lack of interest goes both ways. Thanks for watching. I'm sorry. Huh?
Sometimes you just got to.
Well, it's like, come on, like I
Also,
love.
You just watched 8 minutes, so
yeah. Thanks for the
views. Yeah, exactly.
That boosts my channel.
8 minutes is good retention.
Yeah, it is.
That's fantastic retention.
And yet you're still watching for some reason. Appreciate it. Yeah,
I always look at my retention graph, and it's just like this.
Yeah, I think everybody's is to some extent because it's people.
Oh no, stay a baby channel, and it goes.
Yeah, I mean, the only way that that's not going to happen is if you go out and make all of us as content creators know what's going on in the first 30 seconds when someone is already saying, we're going to, reveal this at the very end of the video. And, a bunch of stuff is blurred out, and they're trying to create this curiosity factor, and the story isn't really there. I mean, it becomes so obvious that, and I've done it myself before too. So, I point the finger at myself too, just goofing around with those retention rates. But yeah, I think everybody in BookTube is kind of the same deal. And I think some of it is because there's so many booktubers out there right now.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you're going to do a TBR, like I did one today, it's 21 minutes long, and I would not doubt that people are either listening at double speed or they're just flipping from ones to the next just to get information rather than the commentary, because they've got 4 other videos lined up for booktubers that they watch that they also want to watch today.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, it's still a good thing, though, because that means there's more people out there reading, right?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I have to admit, I have a playlist of booktubes to watch. Like I created it, so it's just booktube people. I need to watch these videos. And I will be honest, when it gets to over 100, I just put play on my laptop overnight and go to bed.
Yeah.
So that those people are getting the views.
That's really sweet.
Because I really should watch them. And I will occasionally go back and go, okay, I actually should have watched that one because it's something I want to talk to this person about, or I want to comment on this. But occasionally, I'll just like, I'm never going to catch up with this, and I feel terrible. But I have to just get that under 100 just to make it not frightening.
Yeah.
Talk about a weird coincidence. John and I were just talking about Bronson Pinchot this morning.
Yeah.
And somebody brought him up. Yeah, Andrew brought him up.
I didn't know he narrated books.
He does. There's like 400 that he's done.
Oh my god.
He's a massive. Like if you go on Audible, it's
just knowing the show. I believe you.
I talk about and John, you weren't here, but nobody besides Derry and I knew Balky. So yeah,
Balky was so brilliant.
Yeah,
but, yeah. Just knowing that, I know his talent.
Lovely.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, he's done Korea, but Larry Korea as well. He did. I think he did Dead 6, which I was immediately like, okay, I might come back to Korea now to do Dead 6. Because Pinchot does 10 Powers the Anubis Gates, and I've listened to him before, but I didn't realize until Anubis Gates, I was just like, this is one heck of a performance.
Yeah, he's good.
So I'm really, really, really enjoying him. Oh, here we go. Capricious Fox says, by the way, Brian, I'm going to pick up Worm Ouroboros.
Nice.
I mean, how do I recommend a book that I can't recommend? I don't, I mean, this is a book that Philip Chase DNF'd because it was just too old English for him. So it's epic fantasy at its core. It's pre-Tolkien. I think it came out like 20 or maybe 30 years before Lord of the Rings. So yeah, you have to let it look.
Are you feeling okay?
This is the way, Evie. I mean, I'm sorry you only walked away with one book, but at the same time, I'm still both disappointed and proud of you.
I'm worried.
There was another copy of Spear Cuts Through Water.
Yeah.
That's all it was.
That's funny. No, she was going to get Gate of the Feral Gods by
Oh, that's perfectly fine.
Fourth
Go do
Dungeon
it.
Crawler
Brilliant.
Carl.
Yay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm so excited.
I don't
with how
have any of
much
those
love
physical
it's
books
getting.
yet. I really ought to do that and put them on the bookshelf.
I can't bloody afford them. The shipping to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm a convert when it comes to those new
Yeah, I like them.
I didn't like them at first, and now I think they're far superior to the original art. In terms of like giving you the vibe of what it is, I think those bright pastel colors, they just completely hit it right.
Well, and I think that there was part of the market strategy of Discovery was that, like, hey, this book series got its start on BookTube. So, like, they wanted it to look good on people's shelves because they knew people would be seeing it on the internet on people's shelves, and therefore they made it so it would pop.
Yeah.
That's great. I mean, I can't remember who said it because I have so many people on my BookTube watch list, but somebody was saying that the previous covers, the indie covers, were a barrier to people who didn't read lit RPG because they were just
I think Bookborn may have said that.
There's just too much on them that you're just looking at it going, I'm not interested in even reading the blurb. It's clearly for a niche audience.
Yep.
And I think that new covers really overcome that beautifully.
It's mainstream.
Yeah.
So, Brian, Jake, and Derry, what are you guys reading?
I'm reading Royal Assassin again.
Derry, I'm surprised.
It's not Dungeon Crawler Carl, which I've had pretty much on repeat since August of last year. So I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too.
I'm officially halfway through Ships of Merior as of this morning.
Okay.
That's nice.
Cool.
Nice.
Amazing.
I've got 2 books. The one I showed you guys already, Inheritance of Magic. And then I'm also listening to Dungeon Crawler Carl 7 because I had to put it on the back burner because somebody talked me into doing a readathon at the last minute on February 28th.
I think you talked yourself into doing the readathon, Brian.
If I needed to blame someone besides myself this fine Saturday morning, somebody, FOMO'd me. And since I had started it already in February and I didn't want to cheat, I put it on the back burner while I did a different audiobook. So now I am back to Dungeon Crawler.
That takes some control.
And I think I'm at about the 25 to 30% mark.
I think that's when that book really starts taking off.
And I listened to it at basically like maybe either 1.0 or 1.2 speed. It's the only audiobook that I don't speed up.
I do. I do it to about 1.2 to 1.3 to like, it just makes it a little bit more crazy.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
I
like
go
1.2 is where I'm at
BCC.
right now. But everything else that I listen to on audiobook, I'm usually at like 1.5. I just don't want to miss the high quality level, that you get with those guys. But yeah, I'm really liking it. But I will say, and this will be a conversation I'm sure I'll have with Derry and you, Andrew, and whoever else reads this, is that I'm feeling, at least this early in the book, not great about the theme of the floor, similar to what I didn't like about the theme of book 3. I didn't like the general theme. Like the book, book 3 was kind of like that whole train station, layout. I'm not sure I'm digging faction wars as the premise of this floor, but maybe I will as we go. I don't know.
I would say for me, just not to do any spoilers. I didn't like the card mechanics on book 6.
Right.
I wasn't super in love with those.
Yeah.
And for me, book 7's just a hair too long. It takes a while to get geared up and it gets going, which it's faction wars. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot to set up and a lot of pieces that need to be put into place. But it was a slower book to start. And I wouldn't say like the theme of faction wars put me off. There was just so much going on.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those books where like, it's the only one of Dungeon Crawler Carl that I would say, I need to read this one again.
Yeah.
Because I know I missed details because there's just everything exploding and so much is going on. And
it's been so built up, and it's,
and
so
the one thing that I've noticed already, just in the first quarter of the book, is that he's brought in characters from tons of previous books, and he's brought in characters from the Anarchist Cookbook, which we don't know yet, so they're all new characters. There's just tons and tons of characters already that it's really not been a thing in Dungeon Crawler Carl where you're keeping track of 24 characters at a time. It feels much more epic. It feels like a Malazan in the sense of, or a Wheel of Time in the sense of the amount of named characters. But still love it. So
but that's that's kind of the point of the floor is that we are all now in this together, and we are for this floor all on one team, and it's all of us against all of them. And so that sense of scale and that feeling of overwhelmed is intentional, and it works for me. I'm like, this is what I expected from this.
And I think it will for me too. Had I not taken the break for like 2.5 weeks, it had been disrupted by FOMO from a team assistant leader that was forcing me to read 5 books.
Totally.
Started on
twisted your arm. Yeah.
Oh,
such a charming individual too. I mean, I'm not easily charmed into into going off, breaking TBR, but here we are.
Tori's just convincing.
I couldn't not do it. I couldn't do it.
You have to want to be in it.
Everybody, Andy Witham had asked me, and Madison was saying, "You're going to do this." I was like, "No, no."
Do you know why, Brian? It's because it's the Beanie Barbarian bond. Like you can't say no when I put out the call. The Beanie Barbarians will come.
I literally just I messaged Andy and I said I just submitted my entry at like 10:30 at night on February 28th, and I think midnight was the deadline. I was like, fine.
And you're gonna read your 5 books and show up for your team, so it worked out.
Yes, and I'm 2-0 in readathons, so
same.
That's good. Yeah,
we'll see if we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again.
Totally. Very cool. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
you're blaming me here, Nico, and it's the baby's fault. It's got nothing to do with me. You chose to leave. You made the baby more important.
Andrew, are you saying how old you are today, or is that secret?
I'm 35.
You're 35.
Yeah.
You're still in the good years. You're all right.
I mean, I was exactly your age when I got into the nightclub business.
Oh, wow. Cool. So there's still hope for me.
Oh my God, yes.
I was gonna say, Andrew opens a nightclub later this year.
It's gonna have to be book themed. So we're gonna start spitballing ideas.
Packaging sales, from 22 to 34 and a half to 35 nightclub. I mean, like completely different. So exciting times for you, man. 35 is a great year.
Yeah, John, you're old enough to be my dad.
John is wearing socks that are older than you.
I'm old enough to be most people's mums on BookTube. And occasionally in a Discord, I will draw the mum card. And I'll be like, look, I'm sorry, but I'm older than you.
Capricious wants to know if there's any November babies in the chat.
No? May. Me and Tori are May.
June.
Gemini.
You're not old enough to be my grandfather. My grandfather is 92. I just went and saw him.
Oh my God. I was telling Tori this in Discord, you guys, last night. I mean, you can't make this up. I was on the phone, on speakerphone with my 80-year-old father, walking him through how to set up Venmo on his phone. And it's as painful as you would think it would be. because the first thing he does is type in Venmo into the iPhone store, and of course, Square is advertising in the thing. So he downloads the first thing that he sees, and it's Square. And it's like, so how are you going to be accepting Square payments for your business? And I'm like, he's like, what is Square? I'm like, oh my God. 75 minutes later, we sent each other $10.
Was it worth it?
You know, I give him credit, you know, at 80 that he still wants to be tacked and all of that stuff.
True.
You know, that's great. But it's literally when you're trying to visualize, when you've got somebody of that generation telling you what they see on a screen, in every 2 to 3 minutes, I'm saying, Dad, take a screenshot of what you're seeing and text it to me. So I'm looking at it and going, okay, we're not even on the right page here yet. So, oh my God. Yeah. I don't know why I shared that.
I'm right at the age where technology is starting to frustrate me.
Yeah.
I'm no longer like just current on the technology, but I still have to help my parents and the people of that generation with their technology. But now my kids are getting better at technology than I am. And so it's just like a daisy chain.
Yeah. Oh, I know why I thought of that. It's because John came into the chat. That's why.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how did I come up to that? I was like, oh yeah, John's here.
It is fun sometimes trying
John.
to backtrack your train of thought and go, how did I get here from where we were?
Yeah.
I have ADHD, so I do that in every conversation I ever have.
It's
Wait, how did we
fun.
get here?
I've learned when I'm doing a chat or a conversation on Discord, occasionally to just pause and go, here's how I got here. And I'll literally go, that thing led to this thing, led to this thing, led to this thing. And this is why I'm now talking about this thing that you're wondering why I'm talking about this thing. Because I'll be reading back, go, that's really random that I just started talking about something completely different. So I have to explain. I haven't had another stroke. I'm fine, really. There was a logical process here. So,
Brian,
well, I mean, I think your background is so awesome. Everybody's hypnotized by the background, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm just still hypnotized by Jake's muscle statue.
It is pretty amazing. I perhaps I need a story on the statue.
He's a bodybuilder.
He is.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so this is a genuinely won trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
nice.
I'm impressed.
Thanks.
That takes some dedication. I'm impressed, like properly.
Thank you. Yeah,
it's not mockery.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like it's really fun, but it also sucks at the same time. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, doing that to your body sounds awful.
Yeah,
but
like,
hydrate,
at what
don't you?
cost, Jake? At what cost?
there is a cost for sure, but it's also, I don't know. You
think of the cookies and the cake that you are missing out on.
That's,
ice
that's
cream.
very true.
Come on.
That's true. But like you learn things about yourself you wouldn't have learned otherwise, right? So like that's why I do it. It's very worth it at the end of the day. But
My new place is on top of a very steep hill, and it's not close to a bus route, so I have to walk it if I go anywhere. And I'm not at the point yet where I'm like, I'm just going somewhere. I'm still at the point where, oh my God, I've got to do the hill. Because I think I'm going to die every time I come back. I'm hot and red and sweaty, and I came in last time and I literally just got in the door and lay on the floor. I was like, okay, I'm home. I should probably do more exercise because that's not a good thing.
You got to get that cardio going.
Yeah. So, but I have, I've owned the fact that I have to get to that point where I have to be able to just go somewhere without dreading the climb back because it's frightening at the moment. I might die.
Hey, the more you do it, the easier it'll be.
That's what they say.
Incremental improvement.
I'm going to have to, though, because otherwise I will genuinely never leave my house. So,
Jake, what was your favorite part of ICFA?
Hanging out with Janny, for sure.
Yeah.
Like there was multiple hours where it was just like me, Janny, Chance, AP was there for a while.
Wow.
Just talking. Jared from Fantasy Thinker was there for a long time.
Oh, I need to look up his channel. I have not heard of him.
He's got a very cool in-depth discussions of the books.
He pops into the Sunday pub with Matt every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
The Fantasy Thinker.
Yeah.
He's lovely.
Yeah, he's
That
cool
should be
guy.
the Fantasy Drinker.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I
man.
will subscribe.
There you go.
There we go. Another channel. I remember you mentioning him in your video today because I was watching that like first thing this morning, because that's how I wanted to start my day. I was just like, books, yeah, let's wake up, let's do it. And I was like, I don't know that channel. So there's so many BookTube channels that I still don't know about.
Yeah, I've just met the most absolutely lovely young man. He's Scottish. He's living currently in Kuwait, and he wanted to talk Dungeon Crawler Carl. And
is that
he's got less than 500 subscribers. This is David.
David, right?
And he's just lovely.
What's the name of that channel again?
Four Corners of the Page.
Yeah, somebody
awesome.
asked about him on my show too.
He's
Four Corners of the Page.
He's the man.
He's lovely, and
I am
very
subscribed.
enthusiastic. He's older than he appears. He's married. He's got a couple of little kids.
He looks 16.
He's
I
like
know.
24.
He's
or
30.
something. Is he? I thought he was like
He's
early
30.
20. No way. Wow.
He's a wandering end reader.
Maybe he was.
He's literally just hit 30.
Maybe he was
It's
early 20s when
astonishing.
he got married or something. It's something like that.
Yes,
There was
he
some
was.
big life.
He was 21. They've been married for like 9 years.
Wild.
Lovely young man. Absolutely lovely young man. And he wanted to do a PhD to do with reading and literature and books, but of course he has a wife and 2 children, and he's like, it's a lot of money, but I do really want to talk books. So he's doing BookTube, and he's enjoying himself. He's
He's got a really good Malazan story also from like how he found the series.
Nice.
That's cool. Yeah.
I have now on this stream subscribed to 3 new channels.
Hey, that's what we do. We support each other.
Yeah. Chris, when is the move? And how terrified are you to move the books?
How far are you moving?
I'm not moving till June. I'm moving from Michigan to North Carolina. So pretty far.
Oh God.
If you need to store any of your books, just put them in a box.
Yeah.
I'll
send them your
shoot
way.
my address and you can send them my way.
Having just moved less than, I don't know, 5 miles, like it's a tiny move. It took us 2 hours to move everything. I will suggest that you get small boxes for your books.
That's what I hear.
Just more.
I like my 11 by 17 by 13s, but then again, I paid somebody to move those.
There you go. If you're doing it yourself, small boxes is great. And if your books are in any kind of order on your shelf, write which books are in each box.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Evie, I've been subscribed to your channel since I first met you. I'm like 80 to 90% sure. Now I've got to double check because you've got me.
Yeah, you have to.
guessing.
I only discovered the other week that I wasn't subbed to Griffkin, and I was like, how can I not be subscribed?
I am
to him?
subbed
I've
to
been
Griffkin.
talking to him for how long on Discords? And so you're like, of course I'm subscribed to you.
I am subscribed to Evie. How dare? How dare? Oh, I was gonna say something to Chris and I've forgotten it.
Something about
yes. By the way, since your chat a couple nights ago, have you ditched Canva? And if not, everybody here can shame you until you do.
I downloaded DaVinci Resolve, but I haven't used it yet.
It's only taken the first step,
I was
sir.
thinking, what the heck is?
Oh yeah.
Why are
He's
we
been editing his
Canva?
videos in Canva.
Oh, oh my god, dude!
Chris? What?
I know.
I don't do that.
Canva's awful editing for
It is.
videos.
It really is. I don't know. I just started.
I didn't even know
on
that
his-
you could
on his
edit a
Jacob.
video on Canva.
I've got, I know you can. I've got all my like templates in there, so I just haven't changed it yet. But it's terrible. I need to. I know.
Resolve is a piece of cake.
Having said that, if it works for you, I'm not going to tell you to stop.
Yeah,
he has
I mean,
to film all of his videos in 3
yeah,
minutes.
it doesn't work great.
It's hard learning new systems.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
it's working,
It's true.
keep going.
In
That's true.
fairness,
That's
I'm
true.
still stuck in Filmora, even though
I'm in
Brian
Filmora.
has told me like multiple times that he will take a day and show me how to use DaVinci Resolve, and I still haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I made the offer to Mike too. He's like, well,
I use Filmora.
yeah, Mike
Yeah,
uses
I'm so
it
done with
for
Filmora.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm over it.
Brian,
they
why
do
don't
to
you should host a little
Ooh, yeah.
booktuber educational video.
Yeah.
I'm still using I use the free CapCut. that works
Oh,
fine.
sure.
But DaVinci probably the next step up.
DaVinci, the free version of DaVinci is more than enough for any booktuber, period. And I'm talking about the high. Daniel Green could use the free level of the DaVinci and you wouldn't see any quality difference. DaVinci is really what they use in Hollywood. And I have the paid version only because it operates a little bit faster on my desktop. But I used the free version for over a year for sure. And it's there's no features that you're going to need in the paid version that you can't just do in the free one. It's great. And I would
watch that, John.
Yeah.
When I first started my channel, I was using OpenShot because that's what Nico used, and I was just like, just give me your template of how you make YouTube videos. I'm uninterested in doing anything original myself. And then OpenShot's terrible. It's really bad. It's open source free software, and it takes forever to render anything. And it's really bad software, and Nico refuses to upgrade.
I'm here for it, Nico. You hold your ground.
You guys need quality of life improvement, man. Like the speed of editing is such a massive game changer.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like it was so bad that like you would hit like, okay, I've done all my edits, and then you would compile it and you would hit the generate button, and it would take like an hour and a half.
No way, dude.
Yeah, it's awful. It's really bad.
Like,
Filmora takes 8 minutes for like a 30-minute video.
Oh, dude, mine it might be my PC, but like free CapCut on my PC, if it's a 30-minute video, probably takes 3 minutes at the most. Like it's lightning fast.
Right.
Yeah.
It depends a lot on what your resolution you're rendering at as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I render at 3820 2160, which is super high def, and that's going to take a little bit more power and a little bit more time.
That makes sense. I don't know.
The files are bigger, and you'll wind up if you want to save your videos on a hard. I'm on my third external hard drive right now. Speaking of
I
ridiculous
don't save my videos.
file sizes, Mr. Talking Story regularly shoots 40 to 50 gigabyte videos.
Wow.
Wow.
Dang.
I mean, every video they post is an hour long these days.
Yeah.
In 4K, right?
Awesome.
And so I've talked to Jacob about it, and he's like, "Oh my God, my dad just sent me a 45 gigabyte video for a weekly reader." And I'm like, "For a TBR list." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah, see, 60 gigs happens a lot too. I mean,
but John is engaging enough that he can shoot an hour-long video.
People will watch it.
Will watch it because he's
I
amazing.
mean, you guys understand? You could like download an Xbox game that's 50 gigs.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
Weekly reader 60 gigs. Yeah, sure.
When I first started my channel, I had an iPhone 7 that I was filming on, and I was emailing the videos to myself so that I could then I don't even remember what I used to edit, but it was something, I don't even remember, but it was there was a marked difference in quality between my iPhone 7 and my video camera now.
What do you guys record with? What camera do you use?
I went from, I had the same camera as Tori. I don't use it anymore because I need a different lens. I've got the same camera. I'm back to my iPhone. I've been using my iPhone for like months.
Yeah.
Sony, hold on, it's hidden by the.
It's a ZV E10 or like EV. Yeah.
I like it. I haven't been able. People have been telling me that I can use it to live stream. I have not figured out how to do that because I can't find a setting anywhere on the camera that.
I can probably tell you. I have a Sony ZV-1.
Okay.
And my guess is the menus are similar.
Well, in the menu part where it gives you the option to switch to something else, the option isn't there on my camera. So I don't know, which is fine. I'm thinking about just getting like a webcam because it's going to be better than what I have on my laptop anyway. And then I don't have to worry about messing around with settings on my camera because I'm not techie. So I'm like, the camera is set up. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
But John, this is why people watch, because you are hanging out with Jacob and you guys have such a wholesome and entertaining dynamic.
Yeah.
Isn't it though? Oh, that was the first thing I thought.
That's why people watch, is they want that dynamic. They want that in their life.
When Jake was off camera and all you heard was his voice. that interaction between the two of them is just magic.
I mean, Jacob also just has a really nice voice as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Basically,
It's
the whole
soothing to
family is
John's
awesome.
mania.
So
Yeah, John's mania.
they've got.
God, I love it when he's not here and I can roast him without, all he can do is.
He was invited, but he had to.
He's at work, so he's.
He chose a paycheck over unpaid fun.
Whereas I got out of bed. That's how important it is.
Oh, God. Well, you guys, I have to run because I've got to do a couple quick things, and I'm going to bury myself in this book. But I really wanted to come on for a little bit and say happy birthday to the wizard. 35 is a completely magical year. You see what I did there? I threw the wizard in because
well done.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, Brian.
I'm so creative.
You are. You're a creative individual.
Yeah. Anyway, Andrew, happy birthday, Chris. Awesome to see you, Jake. We gotta schedule you because we're backlogged. We gotta get you on the show. Derry, always lovely. I know you're going into.
Feel free to meet as you go through this inevitable ruin.
Yes, I will message you. And Tori, I will see you in the Discord, and as we stomp on the competition.
Sounds good.
Cool. Same with Chris too.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, you guys. I will. I'll hang out and chat as long as I can.
Cool.
All right, guys.
I don't know how much longer we're gonna go, but
okay.
Because our friend who isn't as active as she was on BookTube for a while, Kate, the Almost Book Doctor, she's literally just finished This Inevitable Ruin, and she was messaging me as she was going, and I'd be like, she's going, oh, this is happening, and I'm just like, yay. Okay, glad you're excited for this bit. And then the next bit, I'm getting weeping emojis, and I'm like, I knew that was coming, obviously. And are you okay?
Trying not to spoil things when your friends are reading books that you've already read, and you they get really big emotions about something going on in the story, and you're just like, yeah, and
you're like, oh, please don't get too attached to that person. And
Do we think there's only going to be like 1 or 2 more books in Dungeon Crawler Carl?
Apparently to 10 is where he's been aiming for.
Okay. I didn't know what he was aiming for.
Yeah.
So
I see it with the way book 7 ends. I can see how we're going to get the rest of those flaws in just a couple of books. I can see it.
I mean, that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see how many floors we get to.
Spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. I was just waiting to see what you were going to do with that empty space.
Yeah. There's a good reason why the last few books will be more flaws in less books.
Can I ask a question about the series?
Sure.
As you get deeper and deeper, right? I can't remember. I think I was like, how far did I get in the first audiobook? I'm right, maybe 3/4 of the way through or something, right? And my question is, does the achievement, whatever, and all the loot drops and all the adding this, does that continue to the same degree through the series? Do you get more of it? Do you get less of it? How does that kind of go?
It drops off a little in that you only get the really big stuff. It'll be, and I got this many loot boxes and I got a bunch of this and a bunch of that. But then this box had this loot. And so while sometimes he gets more stuff, you only get the focus on a few.
That's relevant.
Because there's more story to tell. He's established the game dynamic. He's established this is how the dungeon is helping him do things. Okay. And now we're into the story. And I've literally had it on repeat since August. I've just finished reading the whole series for the 5th time since August.
Damn.
Okay.
The story is strong.
All right.
I can't do that. I can't do what you do.
But I also can't do what you do. This is the joy of BookTube. We get other people on the same screen.
Re-listen to series.
But it's so good, Andrew.
It is. I'm not saying anything about it being bad.
And this is for me. I mean, I've made my oats on BookTube with Robin Hobb. Okay, long series, slow-paced series, very well-built characters. It's a very different vibe to Dungeon Crawler Carl. But I'm going to say right now, and you can tell anyone I said it, Matt Dinnerman's character work is as strong. as Robin Hobb's.
Wow.
It's first person perspective the same way, and he's doing what Robin Hobb does, in that he's fleshing out these secondary characters from that first person perspective, and he's doing an amazing job with it, and doing it in a completely opposite way. The pace, it couldn't be any more different. Stories couldn't be more different. The pacing couldn't be any more different. But the strength of those characters are amazing.
I really want to get the speaking of Robin Hobb, I want to get the Illumicrate 10-year anniversary editions.
Oh, those are pretty. Yeah.
I really want them.
I haven't read the series yet, but I want them also. I probably won't buy them, but
I probably won't buy them either.
You don't like Robin Hobb very much.
Who, me?
So no, Anita.
Oh,
she's wrong. Just saying.
I was like, I like 9 of Robin Hobb's books perfectly fine.
Don't start with me.
Speaking of which, Barry, well, sort of. Another series favorite of yours. I just finished The Fifth Elephant and absolutely loved it. It's my second favorite of the City Watch now. I love it.
Because Lady Sybil has such a big part in it. I love Lady
Loved
Sybil.
it. Absolutely loved it.
It is the best married couple in
100%.
fantasy ever.
100%.
Like,
so
that's
good.
marriage goals.
It was so good.
Are we just talking just Vimes and Sybil?
No.
Yep. Well, they are the best marriage.
In the
is
book,
who
I
love
liked
it.
other parts of it. But yeah, the
Okay.
Lady Sybil and stuff. But
This Elephant is the
biggest-
Transylvania one, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So
I liked Igor, and I liked Igor.
Eagles are great.
I love the Igors. I didn't like the Carrot. What's her name?
Angua.
Angua storyline. I didn't particularly
It
love
wasn't
that.
as strong as some of the other books, but I
But
still
Gaspode
enjoyed
got
it.
a great part in that
Did.
story.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love Gaspode.
Yeah, that one's my second favorite now. Men at Arms is
I'm
still
sorry
my
for
favorite.
anyone
but
who isn't familiar with Discworld people.
I think Night Watch is going to blow you away, Tori.
I'm excited for Night Watch.
It's
I'm very
really
excited.
good.
It's probably one of
I'm
my
actually
favorite
going to
books.
get the Penguin edition when that comes out, because they're doing it in
Nice.
the masterclass series,
Yeah.
and it will be annotated. And so I'm really looking forward to getting myself that.
I'm excited to remake my top 10 fantasy series video this year because of the City Watch. I have no idea where it's going to end on my list, but it's going to be very high. It's going to be very high.
I'm really looking forward to when you pick up The Witches.
Yeah, that's going to be fun too.
The only stinker in City Watch, in my opinion.
Jingo is usually people's slowest.
I didn't mind Jingo. Like the plot. Well,
I didn't mind
plot.
Jingo. I disliked. I think is it Thud?
Oh yes, Thud.
I think Thud. I think I gave it like
Thud.
3
I think
stars,
Thud.
and it was the weakest for me.
I
Fair
mean,
enough.
any book where Sergeant Detritus says anything is going to be an automatic 4 stars for me now.
Yeah.
So he's my favorite character in the City Watch, hands down. I love him.
Wonderful thing with Discworld is these main series obviously are focused on a set of characters. So often those characters are in other sub-series as well. They show up in different capacities. And Detritus, we readers meet for the very first time in Moving Pictures, which is one of the weaker standalones. And even in that very first meeting of Detritus, you see the beginnings of the relationship that is discussed throughout all of the City Watch books with his other half. I don't know if we're going to say that about trolls, because Ruby is a whole other thing. But yeah, we see the beginning of that relationship in Moving Pictures, and you don't need it at all to like Detritus or know anything about Detritus in later books. But when you find it, it's like, oh, what a wonderful little tiny few scenes that we got in that book for about a character in a completely other subset. And the charm of being able to do that in Discworld is just wonderful. So, but
I don't know. I have to stick to, because I think I'm very hit and miss on Discworld. I really liked the first couple of Witches books, and then it fell off for me. I'm very hit and miss on the Death Collection. Going Postal is an absolute masterpiece.
oh, it's a banger. I often ask new readers to start there.
But Making Money just felt tired.
making money, and I think part of it that too is at this point he'd had his diagnosis.
Yeah, I understand
the Alzheimer's, and so he was trying to get so many ideas out while he still could. And for me, the weakest of the entire series, even more so than the first few, was Raising Steam, which was the last of the Moist Fun Litvic books, because it very much felt like he'd written some scenes and he'd told people how the story goes together, and it just never got polished beyond that. And I was really sad when I read it, because I could see that was what would happen. And yet the final book, The Shepherd's Crown, which is the one after Raising Steam, read beautifully. So much care and effort had gone into that final book that the polish on it was beautiful. And yeah, the difference just between those two books is night and day. Yeah. So
I was, after making money, I was like, I think I'm going to leave it at Going Postal. I think for Moist Von Lipvig, it doesn't get better.
You don't need Raising Steam for his story. And I don't think it adds necessarily anything unless you're a completionist like me. So
we got some people who have read Sledge. Some didn't like it. Some did like it. Some okie dude, Britain, loves Sledge or likes Sledge. I don't want to ascribe a loved.
He liked it a lot, in fact.
Yeah.
And then Irish Knight said it didn't work for him. I do want to check out Sledge. I believe you've interviewed the author, right, Chris?
Yeah. Yep. He's a really cool guy. Yeah.
I want to check out Sledge, but I haven't gotten around to purchasing it yet.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I liked it. I get what he's saying, though. I could see that. But yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
Well, Anitha, if you want to know what we're reading, I guess you have to go back and watch those other 2 hours at about 3x speed. Geez, I'm sorry. I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm reading The Anubis Gates by Tim Powers and The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett.
Nice.
And then Tori's reading Sunrise
on the Reaping. It's the dumbest like she writes a Haymitch book and calls it Sunrise on the Reaping. I was like, honey, that's an awful title. Like, it's awful. Good so far, though.
No,
really? I never read because I like Haymitch as a character.
Haymitch is my favorite character in the Hunger Games, and I read Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes a couple weeks ago, and it was absolutely
I did not enjoy it.
A mess, and we didn't need it, and it did not help, and it actually kind of character assassinated a couple of things in the original trilogy, which I was like, why did you nobody needed this. But I've been hearing positive feedback about this one from other people that didn't like Songbirds and Snakes so far, and I've been asking for a Haymitch book since Hunger Games 1 came out. So I'm very excited about it.
Cool, glad to hear it.
Yeah. Kyle gave it 5 stars, which surprised me. So I was surprised that like people are like legitimately really liking it. Yeah.
Because after the Songbirds, I was like, oh, I don't know if I even want to go there.
It was so bad.
That was distressing for what it did.
Generous 2 stars.
It wasn't good. So I'm glad to hear that this one's much better. Really.
Well, I'm only like a little ways in, but.
Oh, so you just started.
I just started. Yeah.
I've heard it's the 1-star ratings aren't bad. It just means the book wasn't for the reader. The 2 stars is where somebody wanted to like it and was so mad
just couldn't.
So the 2 stars are the really bad ratings, not the 1 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 2 stars are. I finished this because I wanted to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably hop off here. I got some more work I got to get done. But thank you for the invite. Happy birthday. Good to see all you guys.
I actually think we've been going for about 2.5 hours. So I think we're going to end it here.
Oh, there you go. That works.
So you actually stayed till the end, Jake.
I'm the guy at the party who gets up first so everyone else knows it's okay to leave.
I know you're young when that's how you define the end of the party, when you wake up.
This was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know, Anitha, I'm so sorry, but we've been here for 2.5 hours. I can only hold people hostage for so long.
The sun isn't even up yet.
And yet I appreciate you, Derry.
Thank you.
I
I'm just saying
appreciate
I'm better than Anita. So.
And on that note, we're gonna go ahead. Thanks everybody who hung out, and make sure to subscribe to everybody on stream or any of the channels that we mentioned during this video. If I remember, I will go back and add channel names and links to the description.
He won't remember.
I probably won't. But I'll try and remember. And it's the thought that counts.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is.
With that sentiment, peace out. Bye.
Bye, everybody.